U.S. Bank Stadium, the home of the Vikings, as we move indoors for the State Class 6A football semifinals. It's the Lakeville North Panthers, the defending state champions, taking on the Champlin Park Rebels. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson, and boy, a couple of teams that have had outstanding seasons, Ryan, and defense has been very solid for each of them. The Panthers have allowed just a single touchdown in 4 of the last 5 games, Champlin Park in 3 of the last 4. Yep. We probably are not going to see a track meet out here tonight.
I don't think you are. What you're going to see is very good defensive lines, offensive lines, great coaching, and some tremendous talent and some individual athleticism out there today. These two teams are really evenly matched, and it's really exciting. You get down to your Final Four, Jay, you know they're really good football teams.
Panthers had to really battle past Shakopee last week, winning at 9-7, and really impressive showing for Champlin Park. They pulled away and kind of put Rosemont away in that second half, ended up winning at 34-7 in the quarters.
Well, we were lucky enough to do that game, and it was pretty even at halftime, and that's what a championship team does. They put it all together in about a 3-minute stretch. That went from being a nail-biter to a dominant victory for Champlin Park. So I think they're coming into this game feeling really, really confident. Nick Keenan, I got a chance to talk to him throughout the week. I think he really believes this is his year. This is his team. He's got a quarterback who's hot right now. He's got a great offense and defensive line, hopefully a healthy running back coming back into the mix, and a very good defense. So I think they're really confident for tonight.
Let's talk about key players to look at in this evening's ball game. Starting with the Panthers, and a guy that you could make an argument as maybe the best football player in the Twin Cities or in the whole state this year, Raja Nelson.
He is a wonderful athlete. He's a football player. Never had played quarterback until this year, and they needed him there. And he's been a dynamic playmaker, almost 1,000 yards rushing, almost 900 yards, passing. So dual threat, 26 total touchdowns. So he's electric. He's one of those guys that the minute you take your foot off the gas, he can score a touchdown. He's that electric. So I think tonight Champlin Park's defense and keying him, stopping his explosive plays is going to be huge.
And speaking of that defense, we're going to talk about his counterpart, number 7 on the other side of the ball, guy who's really had a nice season, Obi Ovalecha.
When you look through stats, Jay, of other teams, you see leading tacklers like 60, 70 tackles. He has almost 100 tackles on the year. What that tells me is he has a nose for the football, and he is a great tackler. One thing that stands out on film when you watch Champlin Park, they are wonderful tacklers. They do not miss open tackles. So tonight they're going to play against a really good running game, a dual threat quarterback in Raja Nelson. Obi's got to be all over the field. He's got to get 10, 12 tackles. He's got to dominate tonight.
And Ovalecha has been picked for the Minnesota All-Star game coming up in early December, right back here in this stadium. We said defense certainly going to be strong. This is the type of game it feels like it could come down to things like turnovers and special teams maybe.
And also when you get into this environment, you're playing at the Vikings Stadium, you're nervous. Whoever just settles down and plays football. So get that first tackle out of the way, get that first running play, whatever it is, settle down, and whoever makes the fewest mistakes always is going to win the game. So take care of the football, no penalties, and you got to limit the big plays, the big impact plays. Whoever does that the best is going to win this game.
Should be a great one, and we'll have Wayzata Lakeville South for you Friday night as well here on CCX Sports. The winner goes to the Prep Bowl. It's Lakeville North and Champlin Park coming up. welcome back as you get a look at the night sky here downtown Minneapolis outside U.S. Bank Stadium. The Lakeville North Panthers and the Champlin Park Rebels getting set to do battle. You see, one extra game. The Rebels were the only 6A team to have a bye in the first round. All of the number one seeds have the possibility of being that team. It's kind of picked at random, and I'll have to throw in a little shot here. I do not understand how you can say it's the 32 biggest schools and then let somebody say we don't want to be in there. That's what happened, and so they had 31 and there's a bye. Sorry, you don't get a choice, or you shouldn't. Here's a look at the remaining four teams. As we said, this game, Thursday night battle. Lakeville folks hoping it's an all Lakeville matchup maybe, and we're kind of hoping the opposite. It's an all Northwest Suburbs, as Wayzata and Lakeville South will get set to do battle. Champlin Park won the toss but chose to defer, and so Lakeville North will be getting the football first. Back deep, Jordan Wall, number 1, and number 10, Keaton Mose for the Panthers, and they'll receive the kick of Noah Vogelpol for Champlin Park, the lefty kicker.
When you talked about turnovers and penalties, kicking when you're indoors too can play a big role, and we know Champlin Park has a very good kicking game as well, so that can come in handy. You take all the elements out of play when you play inside.
It's going to be Mose coming up to field it on the 7-yard line, and he's knocked almost down, but not quite. He stayed on his feet somehow. Will Dampier came in and submarined him. He bounced off of that and got a couple more, but still, nice kick coverage there for the Rebels all in all.
It's just amazing that Mose stayed on his feet. He was airborne a good couple of feet off the ground and kept those legs going, but great coverage there by Champlin Park.
See, Raja Nelson, as most fans have heard, running back a year ago, and this year, as Ryan said, kind of needed him more as their quarterback, and so that's the way they go. Their top rusher this season has been Logan Freeberg, who's had a very nice year. Freeberg will get the handoff on first down, and he is stacked up. Rebels getting to him as Anakan Yang with the stop there for Champlin Park. Be a pickup of about 3 for Freeberg on first down as you get a look at the starters for Coach Brian Vossen and the Panthers from Lakeville North. As we said, won the Prep Bowl last year. They got quite a history, whether you be Lakeville North or when they were just Lakeville, and of course their crosstown rival Lakeville South had a very good run as well, and they handed them this Panthers team their only loss this season. 2nd down and 7. Nelson's going to run it around right end here, makes a cut, and Noah Link will wrap him up after a short pickup. Link has had a great year, as you see the defense for the Rebels, and I saw his name up on the board earlier as an academic all-state selection for 6A too. That's pretty cool.
Yep, very cool. I'll tell you what, Link got the tackle there, but Edmund O'Kanzi, number 13, did a great job of setting that edge. Lakeville North will, and you saw it that last play, they'll go to an unbalanced line where they add blockers to one side. Champlin Park did a nice job adjusting to it.
3rd and 4 from the 25. Nelson going to go quarterback draw, and Evalecha wraps him up, and they're going to spot him a little shy of the first down, it looks like. So it'll be 4th down and less than a yard, but in a spot on the field where it would be quite a gamble to think about going for it.
Well, we're going to see, I think, 2 number 7s collide quite a bit tonight. And if you're Champlin Park, you almost have to keep a spy on Raja Nelson because he's so dangerous with his legs. Even when he drops back to pass, he's such a dual threat, such a good elusive runner that you have to almost have an extra body to account for him.
He is also their punter, as you get a look at Coach Vossen there. So if they want to kick, all they have to do is have Raja drop back, and that's what he does. Cam Hammond's running over. Oh, takes a great bounce for the Panthers. Hammond's thought about it, but is not going to be able to pick it up, and it's all the way down inside the 20-yard line.
What a punt.
Be about a 54-yarder.
Well, and I'll tell you what's tough about that, Jay, is you almost have to prepare that they're going to go for it. So you can't really get your true punt return team in. And the minute you do that, he ends up keeping it and gets a first down. So kind of a tricky spot to put a defense in, and really got a great roll on that punt.
And Hammonds, you could, kind of almost read his eyes from way up here that he wanted to try and grab that, but you're just thinking the risk reward wasn't there. He had to just get away for it. So Jace Miller coming out, and he will indeed have Sean Shipman returning from an ankle injury. Did not play last week. Miller's going to throw it on first down, swings it out. Evan Hammonds has some room around the edge, and he will have enough for a first down, it would appear, out to the 29-yard line, a pickup of about 11. So they maybe surprised the Panthers a little bit by coming out throwing.
Well, and we saw that same play last week a couple times against Rosemount. And I love that on the first play of the game. You get Jace Miller a chance to get his feet wet, get an easy throw and completion, and a great play call and an excellent run after the catch there, too, by Hammonds.
From the 29, going to throw it again. And Witt with the catch, and then it looked like he wanted to make a move, and he kind of got caught by the turf monster there, but it's still a decent gainer of about 5.
And again, I think Jace Miller played his best game all year last week against Rosemount, accounting for all 5 of the touchdowns. So he's coming into this game feeling really well, having a lot of momentum and confidence, and what better way to extend that by giving him 2 easy throws to start the game.
Shipman will take the handoff, and this one is well defended by the Panthers. Bottom of the pile for Lakeville North, Preston Palmer on that stop. As you get a look at their defensive starters, Landon Carter, a real stud. Yep. They've got a heck of a defense for sure.
Well, and that's the thing that's going to be a fun matchup tonight, are both of these offensive lines. I think Champlin Park's offensive line is playing as well as anybody in the state. Lakeville North historically has always had great defensive lines. So seeing that matchup, those guys going against each other, whoever is able to win that battle is going to be critical.
3rd down and 5 as Miller looks to the bench here. Only 1 run so far for the Rebels, couple of passes. Miller looking to throw. He's pressured and throws on the run. Brock Johnson will have it for the first down into Panthers territory at about the 42-yard line, and Miller a little slow to get up as he was knocked down.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I think that throw is made possible because he has the rhythm of those 2 easy completions. You can see he took a shot when he delivered that, but how about Brock Johnson getting both feet down and the accuracy to of Jace Miller. And I think tonight, too, I think Jace Miller's going to have to make plays through the air, Jay, but I think we're going to see him be really effective, especially if they're able to get in that red zone running the football. He's been a really, really great runner for him this year.
Pickup of 24 there for Champlin Park. So from the 42 of Lakeville North, fake to Shipman and looking over the middle for Brock Johnson, and he was lit up a little bit there by Carter Patterson, who is also an academic all-state selection, and Miller adjusting that. He is playing with a broken pinky on his throwing hand.
I'll tell you what, if Carter Patterson has his eyes on the ball there, he's going to pick that one off. That hit him almost right in the stomach. He was going in to make that tackle.
So 2nd down and 10 now for Champlin Park.
You might not think a pinky is that big of a deal, but it is. When you're gripping the ball and throwing it, you use that pinky, and it's one of those where you hope the adrenaline takes over so you don't feel it too much.
Miller looking to throw, and Witt was thinking about where he was going to go before he caught it, so it'll drop as an incompletion. See the rest of the starters for the Rebels.
Yeah, and that's a big play. That wouldn't have been a huge gain, Jay, but it would have been, 5 or 6 yards and set up a much more manageable 3rd down. And I got to think where they're at on the field here. If they get 6, 7 yards, they're probably in that 4-down territory already as well.
3 receivers out to the left and 1 to the right here. So 3rd and 10, Panthers will be coming hard. Good block, though, for Miller, and he throws and has the completion as he finds Kamar Graham for the first down. Wow, nice play set up there, and he got a great block by Givens, his back.
I was just going to say that. Watch Givens seal the edge there, and that allowed Jace Miller to get to the outside. But how about his accuracy to start the game? That's rolling to his left on the run, and he puts it right on the money. Great touch. And so far, a big-time drive for the quarterback and for the Rebels.
First and 10 now on the 31 for Champlin Park. Their first possession of the game after forcing a Lakeville North punt. Miller, a planned run here. And a flag is down on the play as the Panthers strung it out pretty well. Flag was not really in the backfield where you'd think of holding, though.
I think they're going to get Shipman on the hold. He made a nice tackle as a lead blocker on that one. And that looked like a designed run for Jace Miller, too. I don't think he was going to throw that. And to get to the outside, Shipman definitely got his hands caught. I believe that's what they're going to get.
Holding, offense, number 51. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
There's a look at Coach Keenan. And so rather than Shipman, they get the lineman, Tyler Gukeen, the right tackle. See, getting out, he's got his arm outstretched right there.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't see it.
You might be right.
I think they got the number mixed up there because Gukeen did not look like much of a hold on that. But we talked penalties. That's one way you can stop a great drive is backing up an extra 10 yards now.
First and 19. Miller under pressure, and down he goes. He is blasted there by Andrew Wyatt. We could see that one coming from up here, and you're wondering, could Miller feel this pressure? And it's going to be a loss of about 9.
Well, that's one thing this defensive line does. They bring pressure, and Wyatt came right off the edge. It was kind of a slow developing play action, and you can see Wyatt unaccounted for, unblocked, and that's not going to work too well. You've got to be able to get a hat on someone when they're coming like that.
So they have got to get all the way down to the 21-yard line. So second and 28 for Champlin Park. Not a lot of plays in your playbook that are designed for that kind of yardage. You're going to have to think, half at a time here. Miller looking to throw, fires, complete to Witt at the 35. He is immediately wrestled down there by Isaiah Curtis, but that's exactly the type of the gain that they needed to get back there.
Yeah, and a great throw. I thought that time Miller did a great job staying in the pocket as he had pressure coming right up the interior, and he stayed in there and he threw it. And that's not easy when you got people at your feet in front of you, but an excellent throw. And here's the other thing to think about too, Jay, is Champlin Park having such a good defense, you don't have to take chances here and try to feel like, hey, we have to get the first down. Make smart throws. If you have to punt, you play the field position game, and they have such a strong defense that it's okay to do that.
Third and 14 from the 35, and Bud Stark really got bull rushed back into his quarterback that time. That was actually, the contact with Miller was actually his own lineman being pushed into him. Looks like that finger is bothering Miller a little bit right now too. Brian Woodley, the offensive coordinator for Champlin Park, and you see Miller looking at that hand right now. And
I'll tell you what, he's doing a heck of a job throwing with it. I mean, he's been very, very accurate so far. It's one of those injuries, Jay, and I've played with a broken pinky in football and basketball. You don't think about it, but then it gets hit a certain way, and it might not be a big hit, and all of a sudden that's all you can think about. And you can see, we've seen, Jace Miller here after each play kind of look at it and play with it. It sounds crazy, but it can consume you because they hurt, and it's one of those you just got to get through it. And so far he's off to a good start. He's been extremely accurate and looked very impressive throwing the football.
And let's be honest, that affects a quarterback more than any other position on the field, you would think. You don't want to be a running back with a bad hand either, having people chopping at the ball, but got to be a tough thing. He's really gutting it out. So here we go with this 3rd and 14. Panthers defense is bending a little bit, but now here they come with a jailbreak rush. Throw for Johnson is incomplete. Miller was under intense pressure, left it a little bit short. Now they would have not had the first down anyway, but at least would have given them a much more manageable thing to think about going for 4th.
Well, Lakeville North did a great job of hiding the pressure on that. You didn't know what was coming. You can see they bring the house on that one. And when you don't know the blitz is coming, you can't necessarily set up a hot route or a quick throw like that. So, again, nice job by Jace Miller hanging in there. Just couldn't quite get enough on it.
4th and 14, and they are going to go for it here. And again, pressure coming. Miller in trouble, and he's going to be sacked way back at the Rebels' 49-yard line. So they will lose 16 on that play. And Champlin Park, maybe considering how the outcome of that one was, might have think twice about going for it.
Well, and that's a play where Jace Miller, and we've talked before in other broadcasts, he's still learning to play the quarterback position. He's got to realize right there, get rid of the football, throw it, overthrow it out of bounds, or throw it way down the field. If it's intercepted, it's like a punt. Instead of, you can't take that 16-yard loss. Now you're giving Lakeville North momentum and really good field position.
They're going to spot it a couple yards farther up, so at the 49 of Lakeville North. But still, obviously, a huge sack. There's Freeberg taking the handoff. He will be held to a short gain of a couple. And looks like they're removing that wrap, and we'll see if it's going to be redone or just left as is. It was obviously giving Miller some trouble.
Well, and I'll tell you, we talked a lot about Rajah Nelson, but Logan Freeberg, quietly one of the best running backs in the metro area, 17 touchdowns, almost 6.5 yards a carry, too. So here's that unbalanced line to the right here. Let's see if the ball follows it.
It's kept by Nelson, and he is wrapped up. Evalecha in on the stop there. Got a little bit of help from his buddy Gavin Rosstead as well. And it'll be a gain of about a yard, it looks like, for Rajah Nelson. Pretty good run defense so far for Champlin Park.
Well, we talk a lot about how great their linebackers are, and they are. But the reason that they're so great, a lot of it is because those four guys up front do a great job of eating up blockers, too. And Sam Knutsen's been outstanding all year long, and really all of them along that defensive line. Anakin Yang, Gavin Rosstead, Cole Fredrickson. They play huge up front.
3rd and 7. Nelson looking to throw, going deep downfield, but that will be incomplete. Mose got turned around. They weren't really on the same page as far as that route, it looked like, so not nearly a completion there, and they'll bring up 4th down and 7 here for Lakeville North.
Yeah, and he was open there. And that's one of the things. I mean, Rajah Nelson shows off. He's got a really strong arm. And that one just, I don't know if they had a different route that they were expecting there, but just not an accurate throw. But he was definitely open.
So now it's the Panthers lining up as if to go for it. But again, Nelson's a punter. He drops the snap. He wasn't ready for it. Gets away, though. Evalecha chasing him, and he'll force him out of bounds. And it will be Champlin Park football, as Nelson was able to make a little bit out of it, but not nearly enough for the first down. He'll gain 3 when he needed about 8 or 7.
Well, and you could tell, so when they punt with him, he's not dropped back as a normal punter, so he's trying to get rid of that quick. And you can see it started turning to the right, just took his eyes off it for a second. And even though he didn't pick the first down up, what an athletic play to take that and then just outrun a bunch of guys. But nice job by Champlin Park. They hold. Now they maintain great field position. So an excellent job. We talked and we said it was going to be a defensive game, and so far it certainly has been.
Are you surprised that Champlin Park is throwing the ball so much early?
I am in the fact that I thought they'd try to establish Shipman early on, but I get the feeling that they wanted to get Jace Miller into a good rhythm and also maybe soften that defense up so that they can run on him.
Ooh, Brock Johnson is pounded by Isaiah Curtis there, and that will be a short loss on the play. The one thing about this Lakeville North defense, one, they're aggressive, but they're also so quick getting to the ball. Yep. This is a play that works against a lot of teams, but he beat that block by being so quick and reading it well.
Yep. We saw that against Rosemount last week for quite a few plays and very successful. But you're right, speed is different. When these elite teams, these Final Four teams all have a lot of speed, and you're on indoors on the turf, everyone's a little bit quicker, a little bit faster.
Miller faking and then throws complete to Johnson. He makes a nice move. Johnson right up the middle. The foot race now, and he's gone for the touchdown. 56 yards for the Rebels, and they will strike first.
Great play call, play action, a little pump fake, and that got Brock Johnson a little bit deeper on his throw. And Jay, he made a heck of a move to miss that first Lakeville North defender, make him miss that tackle, and then he showed some great speed. Again, two plays on this drive, 2 throws, accurate throw, and a big-time move by that young man.
Well, you wonder, the previous play, they just threw that little swing. Does that kind of set that up? Even though it's not the same thing, you get that defense being real aggressive and confident that they can come up hard. Yep. And then the extra point banged through there by Vogelpohl. So with 3:53 to go here in the first, Champlin Park on the board. They lead 7-0.
Well, and so watch. So you get the that little pump fake, you get everyone flying up, and you can see right there, number 24, Noah Nephew came flying up, and that allowed Brock to get to that second level in between the linebackers and the safeties, and he got it, and then he made a great move. Watch it, right as he catches it, and you see there's Jace standing in the pocket. He's excited. I think definitely maybe the new tape job did well on that drive.
Well, and Johnson kind of got tagged pretty good earlier by the same guy he made miss right there. So he learned his lesson. Carter Patterson came up and tried to think he was going to decleat him again, and this time just a great little move, and then he was gone.
I'll tell you, this Rebel team feels confident. They look confident, don't they? You just get the feeling that they feel they belong here, and that they're not only belong here, but they expect to win here. And a great drive.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Champlin Park was in the semis 3 years ago, but that's obviously a whole different group, whereas Lakeville North kind of made a regular habit of it. Oh, Mose with a great return, makes a man miss, and he'll be close to midfield, knocked out around the 48-yard line. So great field position. As Ryan said, you kind of got elite athletes sprinkled out through both of these teams. And a lot of them are on D, which makes it hard to make big plays, but then you get a nice little seam. Look at that nice seam to run through for Mose, and then he makes a great move there on the kicker.
Yeah, and you see a lot of good blocking, even on kickoff return there, and Mose had great patience to allow that seam to develop. And here's the thing Champlin Park's going to have to realize now, when you're playing an elite team, you can't let up. You scored first now. This defense has got to compound that with another great 3-and-out stop, get the ball back to their offense.
They spotted at the 50. Freeberg makes the first man miss, and he'll be knocked down after a gain of about 5 on that play.
And I think Lakeville North, one of the other reasons they moved Rajah Nelson to quarterback is to free their running back up, to get Freeberg more. The teams were focusing so much on him. Now when Rajah's back there, you have to account that he's going to keep that ball. Just enough maybe to give Logan Freeberg a chance to get more seams, and it's been really successful too.
2nd down and 5 now for Lakeville North. Nelson, high snap, but he comes down with it. Brought down by Miles. He'll be short of the first down by about a yard.
Well, DJ Miles did a great job. He was blocked, and he got off of his block and made a tackle on a very elusive runner too. That was a heck of a play, athletic play.
So 3rd and 1 coming up. Panthers looking for their first down. Champlin Park leading at 7-0 here late in the opening quarter of play from US Bank Stadium. It'll be our final 2 football telecasts of the year, of course. The semifinal tomorrow night, Wayzata and Lakeville South as well. Here's Nelson looking for some space. He squeezes through. Hammonds with the stop, but it looked like they might come close to stopping him short of the first down. All of a sudden he's squirting through there down to about the 35, gains 5 or 6.
Well, strung out and not much space. How he managed to squeeze through there that's pretty athletic right there. How about this, Jay? This year, Lakeville North, guess how many points they've given up in the first quarter? 7 all year long. So they're not used to being down 7-0 here in the first quarter. So pretty good start so far for Champlin Park.
Nelson handing it off to Freeberg, dragging a tackler with him as he was wrapped up by Ocansey, but couldn't get him to the ground until he had come very close to, and looks like he will have enough for the first down. Little misdirection that time.
Yep. And Freeberg he doesn't look big. He's only 5'9", 180, but he's built, and that time showing his strength, carrying Champlin Park defender there a couple extra yards, picking up the first down.
Panthers have some rhythm offensively now. To 26, going to go same play the other way. Freeberg getting past Evalucha, ball's loose.
Wow.
And it looks like Champlin Park with the recovery. Wow. Nice strip and recovery there by Ocansey, I believe. Yes, as he will force the turnover.
Oh, that was a nifty run that time by Freeberg, looking like he was fighting for some extra yards here. Let's see how that.
Yeah, rips
great
it out.
job.
And then he
and
comes
recovered
up with
it too. Watch him get his hands in there. He's realizing he's up a little high and just rips that ball out. And as soon as it was out, you see his head get on the ground looking for that ball and then getting on it. We talked about it, turnovers. Lakeville North looking like they were driving, getting ready to maybe tie this game up, and a big-time play by the Rebel defense.
So Lakeville North had a little momentum looking like, but Rebels coming up with a huge stop there, forcing the turnover. So they'll take over at their 19. Miller again, pump fake, looking downfield for Witt, and he's got it on the fingertips. And Witt will step out of bounds in Lakeville North territory. But a 41-yard gain it's going to be for the Rebels.
I'll tell you what, Dom Witt made up for the drop earlier. Watch the extension here, Jay. Just barely on his fingers. Great catch. And again, I think you can see Champlin Park's plan is to use the Panther aggressiveness against them. The pump fake, everyone takes a step or two up and try to hit him over the top. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. And how about this? Jace Miller, no incompletion so far tonight.
Shipman takes the handoff this time, as they've only run it a couple of times. Brought down there by Ryan Mudgett for Lakeville North. He will pick up 5 on the play.
Jason had the one incompletion, right? We had the one drop earlier, or 2, excuse me. Still, you get the point. Very accurate to start the first half here.
So here we go, 2nd down and 5 at the Panthers 35. Couple of big plays in the passing game, including the start of this drive. Now Miller's going to run it, and falling forward near the 30, and looks like it may be enough for the first down. The way they're spotting it here, yes it is. So give him 5 and a first down, 5th first down already for Champlin Park. Down to about 40 seconds to go here in this first quarter. Rebels up 7-0 and looking to drive it again.
Yeah, and I think that Jace Miller run is so effective because even if it's not a big play, he's such a big, powerful guy that he's going to get you positive yards.
Miller looking to throw, gets it out quickly to Brock Johnson as a blocker out front, and a flag is down, and this one probably going to be a hold out there as Givens was blocking for him out there. Tyler Givens, that is.
It just looked like he continued his block, didn't it, Jay? I mean, it looked like he did a great job engaging that block. And that was that quick throw we saw very successful last week against Rosemount. And that time executed really well, but I think going to come back, obviously, with the holding call.
The good news, I guess, if there is any, is that it happened a little ways downfield, so the penalty is really going to only make it first and maybe 12 or 13, something like that.
Holding on the offense, number 3. That is a 10-yard penalty. We will have 1 untimed down.
Called it on Brock Johnson instead.
I think they've gotten a couple of numbers mixed up so far on the penalties there, but definitely got the hold up top. I was watching that play, and we'll see.
Yeah, it was Johnson was number 3. He didn't hold when he had the ball. Yeah, I agree. And Nelson's kind of selling it.
I don't think that's a hold. I think that's a great block. You know, it's funny because I was actually fixated on that block, determining, and I watched it the whole way and just thought it was a good block. I thought he did a great job engaging and holding that block.
Miller under pressure, looking for the screen, and incomplete, looking for Shipman. Boy, that worked wonders on a 4th down play against Rosemount last week with Givens in there at the running back spot.
I'll tell you, the thing is you can see how quick that Lakeville North front is. You see how quickly they got there, and I'll tell you, Jace Miller didn't have a whole lot of time to really let it set up. He had to get rid of it and tried to get some air underneath that to allow Shipman to make the play, but very close to being a well-executed screen.
Looks like, I believe this is Palmer who's down for Lakeville North and in some pain. Yeah, you're right, the defensive front for Lakeville North. To be honest, you watch a lot of high school games, you don't see a ton of great pass rushers. It just is, usually a skill that's kind of develop later maybe, or maybe your fastest guys normally aren't playing D-line, depending on the size of your program and all that. But they've definitely got some guys who can really go up there. And boy, the crowd has really gone silent as Palmer definitely in some pain. See if we can see what happens.
See number 50 right there.
Oh, leg kind of buckled on him. Looks like he's holding the left knee. Looks like they're calling a couple of bigger guys to come out and help him off a little bit here. So
I'll tell you, first and foremost, you hope he's okay. But from a football standpoint, he is a great football player. Their third leading tackler on the year. 3.5 sacks coming into the year too. So he's a great football player. You certainly hope. Sometimes you buckle and it kind of goes numb a little bit, but then you end up being just fine. It's great to see him walking off on his own.
So second and a dozen as you look at Brian Vossen, 94-20 record, state champs last year. Played for Lakeville when it was just Lakeville. There's Shipman, whoa, and he is slammed to the ground there by Landon Carter for a big loss.
That's nothing new. He's got 16 tackles for loss coming into this game. And we talk about their defensive line, 6'2", 215 pounds. Not a big, but just athletic. And you could see how quick he got in that backfield.
And so that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Champlin Park leading at 7-0 after one. We'll be back with our second quarter football here on CCX Sports.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How is it? Is it good?
Welcome back. An interesting first quarter here. Champlin Park, a couple of big plays in the passing game, including the lone touchdown. A strike over the middle from Jace Miller to Brock Johnson, and then Johnson ran away after making one great move right after catching it and went 56 yards for the score. So here we go with a 3rd and 21 after that big loss for Champlin Park. Miller stepping up, throwing downfield, and he's got a man. It's Hammonds. He's got the catch, and he'll be down inside the 5. Evan Hammonds hauling it in. Miller did a really nice job stepping up through that pressure.
Yeah, Hammonds, great catch, great speed to get to that second level, but this was all done by Jace Miller. He recognizes the pressure coming to the outside, steps up, and what a lot of quarterbacks do when they step up, they're not looking downfield. He kept his eyes down the field and put some great touch on that one. If he would have let him another yard or two, probably would have been a touchdown. But did you see who they happened to beat there in the secondary? Raja Nelson playing both ways. That's a big-time conversion on 3rd and very long.
So they've had completions of 41, 56, and 38. As you said, kind of making, they're going to take a timeout here, kind of using Lakeville North's aggression against them. They're sending pressure on every throw, and that time Miller did a great job of kind of stepping up into the pocket. And Hammonds, this throw was really accurate. I think, obviously it's a nice catch, but in reality he probably should have scored. I'm not really sure what would let him to fall there, as he just kind of was making sure he caught it.
I think Jace thought he was going to score on that one too, but I'll tell you, that's a heck of a throw. There's not many high school quarterbacks that can make that, stepping up, pressure breathing down your neck from behind, and he was kind of off one leg, so he didn't get to really step into that throw, but had some great touch on it, and he's been outstanding so far to start this game, broken pinky and all. Showing some elusiveness there. He's shown some accuracy, throwing on the run, stepping up, making some hard throws, so kind of done it all in the passing game.
Now Champlin Park, who have not run the ball much or particularly well in this early part of the ball game, see if they're going to continue to throw to try and punch it in here, or if they'll go to the ground game.
This is where Jace Miller, it smells of a Jace Miller running touchdown, because he's got that big body to fight forward to get 2-3 yards. It's certainly right up in his wheelhouse.
From the 3, here he goes. Miller plowing forward, and Ryan is the crystal ball out tonight. He ran through the last tacklers there, and he's in for a 3-yard touchdown.
And that's all power. I mean, he was hit at the 2-yard line by really good tacklers, and you see that second burst of strength that he had, that second effort got across the goal line. You couldn't have scripted a better start to a game for a quarterback than that young man right now is having.
Vogelpohl on to attempt the extra point here for Champlin Park. And his kick is right through the middle, so 14-0 lead for Champlin Park as they again use a big passing play, this time not to score the touchdown, but to set it up, and then it's Miller running right through a tackle attempt there.
Yeah, and that's Ryan Mudgett, number 8 for Lakeville North. He's their leading tackler. I mean, and he's met right at the 2-yard line. And I don't think people give Jace Miller the credit that he deserves, not only as a thrower, but just how physical he is as well. And we've seen him last week, made some great moves too. He's got good footwork, but I think his best asset is his power, his ability to always get that extra yard or two, as he showed there on the touchdown run.
Yeah, I was mentally preparing for that to be 2nd and goal from the 1. It looked like they were going to stop him there, but he was able to run right through it. Panthers, there you see Palmer in tears a little bit, as I think it looks like they maybe are getting ready to move him somewhere, or possibly get him x-rayed or whatnot, as it looked like maybe parents being called down from the stands or whatever. So you hate to see that, don't you?
You never want to speculate, but they can do a quick ACL test when you're out on the field, and sometimes they feel like they get that diagnosis, and gosh, you certainly hope he's okay.
Jordan Wall with the return. They go with a couple of handoffs. Wow, this was nice. And guess who? Raja Nelson taking it. I don't know that I've ever seen a double handoff like that. Obviously, they have some fun setting things up on their special teams as well. That was interesting.
That was like the old play you do in the backyard when you kick off. You bring them together, and actually executed extremely well.
Give Champlin Park a little bit of credit, though, because they stayed in their lanes at least enough to, I mean, obviously it's still great field position. It's not like they snuffed it out or anything, but
it didn't go for a touchdown either. And I'll tell you, Lakeville North, give them credit too, being a little crafty and finding a way to get their playmaker the ball, even in special teams.
Nelson's going to run it right up the gut here with some power football. And he'll be into Champlin Park territory with a gain of about 4, maybe 5 on that play. Looked like they decided they're just going to go right at him.
Yeah, and let's not forget too, Jay, Lakeville North, defending champions, this is a winning program. They're not used to getting hit in the mouth like they have. And you see Raja Nelson maybe running a little bit harder on that play. I would expect their best effort on this drive.
From the Rebels 48, Freeberg takes the handoff. Makes a little cut and then ridden down from behind, but a nice gainer will give him a first down, as he was caught up to by Knutson pursuing from the backside there, but it'll be a pickup of about 9.
And Lakeville North lost a lot last year to graduation, a couple of great players on their defensive line especially, but a lot of these players were a big part of that team, and they have that heart of the champion, so they're going to keep battling here whether they're down 2 scores or not.
From the 37 now, Nelson looking to throw. Going to throw it up deep down the left sideline, but running out of space there is Mose, and it'll be incomplete. So only a couple of throws so far for North, and they've both been very long throws down the field, and neither really close to being completed. O'Cansey, pretty good coverage there, and then got safety help from Hammonds as well. There was not a lot of room to work with.
But I'll tell you, Mose is their big play guy. He's 24 catches, but over 480 yards, so averaging just over 20 yards per catch. So when he does catch it, it usually does go for a big play, but nice coverage that time by the Rebels.
Freeberg takes the handoff here, and he squirts through an opening, and Freeberg They tried to rip it out again, but this time he's able to hang on, and he will have a first down to about the 20, but there's a flag down and maybe coming back.
Yeah, I think you're going to get
Yep, going to be a hold. Yep. So
Holding.
wipe out a gainer there.
Number 44, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Going to be on Nick Mines.
Well, that's too bad for Lakeville North. That was a big explosive run too down the field, and where the hold happened, it's going to be about second and 20. Or excuse me, yeah, second and 20.
So back to the 44-yard line. Freeberg will run it to the left side, and he is cut down. Nice job getting there in the open field by Devon Moore.
I'll tell you what I love that time. He set the edge, and then he made a great tackle, a low tackle, and then you see the excitement after it. I like the energy that Champlin Park is playing with. Just not allowing them to get outside. He fought off the block that time and made a sure tackle, and he's fired up afterwards. You love the energy.
3rd and 21 now for Lakeville North, back at the 48. Nelson rolling to his right. Now some pressure coming, and down he goes. He is sacked by Noah Link.
Great job by Noah Link, bringing some pressure that time. And you saw Raja Nelson try to make something happen there. He's so shifty. You can see Noah Link coming from the bottom of your screen there, gets off the block, and just a great effort. And how about this, Jay? You and I talked in the pregame, penalties and turnovers. Lakeville North driving here on this one. They get that big holding call. And remember the previous drive, they were moving the football and had the fumble. So penalties and turnovers already playing a big role.
Nelson punting it here. Cam Hammonds calling and making the fair catch at the 20-yard line for Champlin Park. So would look like Lakeville North had something going. Boy, that went backward in a hurry. The Rebels defense rising up strong. They're helped with a penalty, but then getting the big sack and the tackle for loss on the back, and pretty soon the Panthers had to punt it again.
Well, I'll tell you the difference between these two teams, at least early on, is Champlin Park's faced 3rd and really long a couple of times, but when you have the ability, the threat of a throw downfield, it's huge. Lakeville North, you can tell Champlin Park saying, we're going to make Raja Nelson beat us with his arm. We're not going to let them run the football. We're not going to let him run the football and beat us. If you're going to beat us with your arm, and so far unable to do that.
Champlin Park gets the football back at their 20-yard line here, already leading at 14-0. Miller will hand it off. Shipman trying to power forward. Will get a couple on the play. Shipman still hobbled a little bit. I don't know that he's back to full strength, but good enough to go here tonight.
Well, and you got to think, too, if they are able to win this game, you have 2 weeks till you get to the state championship. So plenty of time to rest and rehab it, strengthen it, and get yourself really 100% for that state championship game.
2nd down and 8 here for Champlin Park. Going to go back to Shipman, and down he goes. Wow, he was blown up that time by Carter. And you can kind of see why they haven't been running the ball much so far.
Watch Carter get off of that block. He's so fast, too. He hits that block, gets him off 93. Watch him explode then into the backfield and basically bring Shipman down with one arm. So he's a complete player. He's a stud on defense.
Lost about 4 on that play. The Rebels certainly a passing down, but you want to be careful at this spot on the field, and already leading it a little bit too here. See if the Panthers come with blitzers again, as they've been throughout the night. They do. Miller throwing. Johnson juggles but hangs on, and he'll fight his way for the first down out to about the 33. Nice gainer there.
Well, great call, because it's a quick throw, so you negate pass rush. And I'll tell you, Brock Johnson, when you're slanting into the middle of the field, you know you're going to get popped. That is not easy to to hang on, have the concentration to hang on to that football as he bobbled it. What a catch.
And Brock, they list him at 5'10", 175, and I think probably that might be a little generous. But he has had an amazing year for the Rebels.
He's fast, he runs great routes, and he's got great hands.
And a little bit of that fearlessness you need right there too.
When you're running in the middle of the field, especially against Lakeville North.
Option left, and Miller stumbles. Interesting, Miller kind of holding the ball in one hand, and it's the one hand that's wrapped up. I'm thinking the Rebel coaches probably want him to tuck that thing away a little bit better there, and he'll be stopped for no gain.
And I think that's where the speed of the Panthers, I think Jace thought he had an opening here. And I'll tell you, it looked like he stumbled. It looked like his neck got hit back. Watch, he kind of falls there. Kind of an awkward collision between those two.
Yeah, Carter was getting ready to tackle him, and all of a sudden Miller had fallen a level because he had kind of stumbled. 2nd and 10 now for Miller and crew. Throwing, complete out to Evan Hammonds, and he keeps the legs driving.
Oh, what
He'll be very
extension.
close to a first down.
I mean, how about knowing where that first down is and having the wherewithal to reach that ball out? That's a wonderful play. Great block, too. Is that Witt that I think got that block? And a good cut. Watch him reach across where that's great, because he was a yard short, but it's, where your knee hits, it's where that football is. And I'll tell you, all these receivers for Champlin Park having great games so far.
And you could really see on that replay that his head was looking. He could see where that stick was. It wasn't by accident that he got that last half yard for the first down. From the 43 now, new set of downs for Miller and company. Give us to Shipman. Has a hole this time, stumbling his way forward, and he'll have another first down. Best run of the night for Champlin Park right there, and it could have even gone for more. Shipman kind of stumbled.
I'll tell you, showing his quickness, the way he hit that hole. Just blocked for a second. And watch him right there follow the big block there by Jihad in front of him. Great cutback and then exploded forward. Great kick-out block, too.
13-yard pickup for Champlin Park. They're at the 44 of Lakeville North.
Remember, we had 3rd and 10 back at about their 20 there. So not even if they're unable to score here, just to be able to move the football like they have is a win.
Out to Johnson. Johnson cutting up. He's wrapped up and dropped there by Mines, but another nice pickup there as he'll be inside the 40 to about the 38, so I'll give him 6 on that completion.
And what I love is a quick throw, no pass rush. Your quarterback doesn't take a hit. It's an easy throw. And Ty Givens that time did a great job again holding that block and allowing Johnson to get up and, not a home run, but 6-7 yards on first down. Those are great plays for an offense.
2nd and 4 now as we tick under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Champlin Park leading 14-0. Another little throw out in the flat, and he'll have the completions to Ty Givens.
And you feel like the Rebels offense is just in a great rhythm, Jay. Quick throws, and then just when Lakeville North is really starting to come up, that's when they'll take that shot over the top. You've seen a number of quick little slants, quick throws to the wide receivers, and you get the feeling they're setting up something perhaps down the field.
First down at the 34 now for Miller and crew. Miller's going to keep it himself, and he is wrapped up and brought down. Nice tackle there by Curtis.
Yeah, that was an option that time, and Jace, I think, made the right call. He saw some room out there, and a really nice tackle by Curtis. That could have been an 8 to 10-yard gain. Instead, still a positive play for Champlin Park on first down.
Yeah, give him 3 on that carry, and Rebels really have things clicking. Boy, a touchdown before half here would be huge if they could go up by 3 scores. We're going to have a timeout taken by Lakeville North.
Not a good sign. You see Coach Vasa with those eyes closed. Hey, what do we do right now to slow this offense down? And remember too, Jay, the Rebels get the ball to start the second half. So, and the other thing I love what they're doing, this offense is just methodical, but it eats up clock too. And you control the ball, you control time of possession, and to your point, if they can get a third score before half, and then also get the ball to start the half. That'd be a dominant first half for this team.
Just really feels like they have had a great plan as far as taking what the defense gives them a little bit too. If you're going to come with all kinds of pressure, we're going to get the ball out quick. A receiver might break a tackle or he may not, and to get, like you said, it's still a nice chunk of 6-7 yards on a first down play.
Yeah, and pretty surprising. I mean, I thought they'd be, or try to be, 65 run, 35% pass. They came out even more the opposite. I mean, 80% pass, and softened that defense up enough. And we saw Shipman hit a nice run on this drive, but otherwise mixed in with a lot of quick throws. So you negate the pass rush, you give your quarterback that rhythm. You kind of feel like everything in the playbook is available right now.
2nd down and 7 here for Champlin Park. Miller faking, he gets hit but gets it out, and Evan Hammonds with the catch, and down he goes at the 20, but it'll be another first down.
Well, and Evan Hammonds, he had a great game last week too against Rosemount defensively, and here he's another nice catch, and they see something in the middle of the field. There's a nice seam, and a good job again by Jace Miller standing in the pocket, knowing he's going to take a hit and delivering a real accurate throw and a wide open Hammonds.
Miller's going to hand it off to Shipman. He is wrapped up early on in the play by Nick Mines, and looks like maybe a half yard or so is all they'll get out of that one.
And again, I love how Champlin Park, it looks like they're going to snap the ball, and they're trying to get Lakeville North to show maybe what they're going to do, what their run fit is, if they're going to blitz or not. And they look over to the sideline, and it just allows them to get into the best available play to match up against what they think that defense is doing.
2nd and 10 here for the Rebels. Miller is going to step up, and he will run it. Jace Miller runs into a teammate, and then down he goes at the 10. Looks like he should have enough for the first down. Yes, he will. It's going to be first down and goal to go.
I think we give the tackle that time to Ty Givens down the field, but watch Jace immediately recognize, you see him recognize that pass rush, and he didn't hesitate at all. Just quick decision, pulled it down, made a guy miss, and he might have been able to get a few more yards there, but that little pump fake allowed that opening to just happen in front of him, and very decisive on that run.
Mose with the tackle. It'll be first down, goal to go here. 1:34 to go in the half. Hand off to Shipman up the middle, and he is in for the touchdown. Champlin Park continues to excel here in this first half.
I'm sure they're very happy to have that young man back and healthy. And I'll tell you, great run, but extremely well blocked too up the middle. There was a nice hole there. Excellent job by the interior of that offensive line. Ampig, Stark, Robinson open up a huge hole for Shipman.
Vogelpohl on to attempt the extra point, and the kick is up and good. And it is 21-0 Champlin Park here late in this first half. Ryan, I had confidence that they'd play well, but I don't know that I would have expected this through this first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's no middle linebacker there. And look at how well he's untouched in that, other than the referee that got a hand on him. No middle linebacker right up the middle. Great job, too. These nice kick out by Robinson, number 59, and they've just been, you go into a football game as a coach and as a coordinator, you have a plan, you've watched film, but then to see it come to fruition and see it all work out the way you drew it up has just been perfect.
Yeah, you really, when you look at that replay, you really get the feeling that Lakeville North guessed wrong about what they were going to be facing there, because there was nobody there. And, I mean, certainly it was well blocked, but they just didn't have bodies in a position. I do not think they were expecting run up the middle there.
Well, and you also get the feeling, Jay, that they threw so often early, and it's really set up the run a little bit. That drive alone, Shipman with a couple of nice big runs, including the 10-yard touchdown run. So he's, like I said, they're very balanced. They've been balanced all year between throwing and passing, and And tonight, no different. They've been very successful.
Mose will take it at the 5-yard line here. This time no trickery. Mose returning. Ooh, look at that little move, and then is forced out of bounds by Evalecha right at about the 26-yard line. We'll take another look at Sean Shipman scoring this one. You see a lot of open space in the middle. You get a pulling guard, a couple of good blocks, but the reality is they just didn't have bodies in a position to get to Shipman at all there.
Well, Ryan Mudgett, their linebacker, number 8, was coming on with some pressure on the right side, and it completely took him out of the play.
Conduct, number 42, Champlin. That'll be 15 yards.
Oh, and the Rebels get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after that kickoff, so not going to be something that pleases the coaches there, as it gives Lakeville North a little more of an opportunity here late in the half. Only a minute 20 to go. They'll be on their own 41 after the 15-yard mark-off.
And what you want to do if you're Champlin Park is you want to step on the jugular right now. You don't want to allow Lakeville North to sneak in here a touchdown right before the half. You want to go into halftime with a shutout, with a 3-score lead, getting the ball back for as well as they've played in this first half.
Nelson looking on the wheel route for Freeberg, and he's got it. O'Cansey with the tackle. Rebels went for the pick, and it looked like for a moment they might get it, and instead it winds up as a completion to Freeberg. Really a nice idea on that play for sure for Lakeville North to run this one. They fake it to Freeberg and then run him out in the route.
Yeah, he went out in that wheel route, and I think Devon Moore just mistimed his jump a little bit. He waited a half a second and jumped. He might have gotten a hand on that.
Nelson throwing deep down the sideline here for Mose, but it again is going to be out of bounds and incomplete.
Yeah, first completion on that previous pass for Raja Nelson, and that was a beautiful throw and catch. You know, if you're Champlin Park right now, you'll give up yards, give up 5, 6, 7 yards, but you just can't let them get anything deep, nothing over the top, nothing behind you if you're a defensive back.
Nelson looking to throw, some pressure coming, and he steps up and runs, and he's got great speed down the sideline. Raja Nelson, a cut, spins, and he's going to be marked out of bounds, it looks like, back near the 15.
Oh, wow. Holy bucket, does he have explosive speed, Jay? I knew he was electric, but watch him take off.
Yeah, Evalecha normally runs people down in that spot, but not there. And then look at the end. That was my question, was whether it was going to be a touchdown or not, but apparently, he's definitely out at the 14. Great spot, great eyes by the official.
Which is crazy because he didn't need to step out right there. But yeah, great call. I thought they were calling him down at the 1, but great job by the referees to see that.
Nelson's going to run it again, gets a great block. Nelson this time will trot on into the end zone, no flags, and the Panthers are on the board with a great drive.
Oh, they got the kick return, the personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, gave him great field position. That time Raja doing it both in the passing game with that beautiful touch pass, and then electric when he runs the football, able to come down, and they quick score here for Lakeville North.
Well, after they really hadn't run the ball all that effectively, the last 2 plays go for 37 yards total. Snap was a little low, but they get it up and through as kicked there by Preston Fisk, and it is now 21-7 after this Raja Nelson touchdown.
Yeah, really well blocked up front. That's a design run. You got the feeling Champlin got out of their normal defensive stuff there, trying not to take, preventing a deep ball, and that's really what allowed Raja Nelson to become so elusive on those 2 runs. Exactly what we just talked about. Now you gave Lakeville North a sign of life here, a little bit of hope. And still, 41 seconds with one timeout left for Champlin Park. You get a decent return, you still got plenty of time here, especially with the arm of Jace Miller and the success he's had throwing the ball tonight.
Boy, and you think of that completion that they had was very close to being an interception. I thought for a moment it was going to be, and it just got far enough there to Freeberg.
Well, they say it's a game of inches, and that literally was just a couple of inches over more there, but that was a great play design
Johnson and Evan Hammonds back deep here. They'll try and kick it toward Johnson at about the 3-yard line here. Brock Johnson bringing it upfield and has a little space and is brought down from behind close to the 40-yard line as he was run down there by Josiah Crawford.
Well, this is where you got to keep in mind Noah Vogelpohl, excellent kicker. So, getting a great return like that, don't have to go, probably about 30, maybe 40 yards to get into field goal range here, but plenty of time with that timeout. Remember, too, the clock does stop after a first down, so you got plenty of time here if you're Champlin Park.
Be interesting to see if they, really look aggressive here with the 2-touchdown lead, or if they want to be content to run the rest of this half out. Looks like we're going to have a timeout taken by the Panthers.
Their second charge timeout.
Looked like they weren't exactly sure on coverage there, so not a bad play in this spot. I mean, realistically, you're not going to need it
for offense.
Yeah, you don't want to give up a big play because you're misaligned.
Yeah, kind of what's different too, in some of the power schools over the years in Eden Prairie, Lakeville North, you don't see them confused very often or unsure of what they're trying to do. And tonight, I think you give all the credit in the world to the Rebel offense. They've gotten Lakeville North a little bit shaky, a little bit unsure of what they're doing.
Well, a reminder to vote for our CCX Sports Play of the Week, brought to you by Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove. Go to ccxmedia.org. Vote for your favorite. We have 4 plays each week, and you, the viewers, pick the winner. We've had some great response this fall, some great plays. A lot of them in football, obviously, but some volleyball and tennis and
how about
all kinds of
Wayzata
other
winning the
sports.
volleyball?
Yes, Wayzata volleyball state championship last weekend was huge. Miller looking to throw. He's going to go deep down the sideline and almost caught. Oh, just ripped away at the last second from O'Cansey. Boy, what a perfect throw. And I think he was going to catch it, but the defender just got his arm in there to rake it out.
That was a perfect throw. You couldn't have thrown that any better.
Mo is there on the coverage.
You see him get his arm in and rip that left arm of O'Cansey just at the last second. You can't ask for a better throw, though. Just perfect. But pretty good coverage, too.
Boy, that was a throw that you'd see on Sunday afternoons in this stadium from Jace Miller there. Looking to set up a screen. Miller, Shipman with the catch. Shipman getting upfield. Shipman gets a block. Wow, that was the last guy that really had a chance to tackle him there. And Noah Nephew made the stop, but a flag down. This one's going to come back, it would appear. Could have had a man downfield or possibly a hold once he'd caught it. Yeah, it is going to be a hold.
Holding, number 13, offense. 10-yard penalty.
Will pick up the penalty there. And that's a big one. Boy, that one nearly went for a touchdown. Obviously wouldn't have counted anyway in hindsight, but Noah Nephew saving a touchdown to Shipman there.
And well executed. Again, you see that pass rush by the Whites. Look at 4 of them executed. Look at that wall of blocking out front.
Yeah, that's a hold. That is a hold.
And probably not needed with those 2 linemen downfield being able to seal the deal, but a hold downfield by a receiver, you always live with it because it's great effort.
Miller again throwing it up deep and off the fingertips of Witt. As Mo is out there, and he's going to get a flag for unsportsmanlike, I'm sure.
Good call. You saw him bend down and yell at Witt right there. I hate seeing that. You made a great play. Be happy, celebrate with your teammates, but no need to taunt the receiver, especially when you're trailing by 2 touchdowns.
So we saw a and unsportsmanlike on Champlin Park that really helped Lakeville North on that kickoff that led to their touchdown. And now it might be too late for the Rebels to do much with this, but it's still not a good penalty
Dead
to
ball
take
foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 10, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jay is going to put the ball at the 45, and he's still got 14 seconds left plus a timeout. Great play. I mean, Mo's defended it perfectly, and
that is about as obvious as could be. And I saw a couple of people kind of like complaining on the Lakeville North side. Well, that's a penalty 100 times out of 100. Yeah. Here's Miller rolling out, throwing on the run, and he has Witt. He'll step out of bounds at around the 33. It'll be a first down.
Great job by extending the play, and there's that athleticism by Jace Miller. You watch him on tape, and you feel like he's not athletic, but he's got good speed. He eludes the pocket, and he's very accurate on the run. And a nice job, too, by Dom Witt. There's maybe not open initially, but coming back to the outside, being available for his quarterback. Nice throw and catch.
Only 8 seconds to go. They do have one more timeout. They're at the 34. So time definitely a factor here, and looking for Whip, but it was behind him, and it'll fall incomplete. Boy, already 21 throws in this first half from Jace Miller, and complete on 15 of them.
He's been very, very accurate, and a couple of those are drops by his wide receivers that have been put right on the money.
Well, you might have to be thinking about a throw to the end zone here. I think it's 4 seconds is all that remains.
I wonder if they would have hit that play, if they would have tried to go for a field goal. At this point, it'd be a 50-plus yard field goal, so obviously a little bit further.
Miller's going to throw it up, and this one is Nelson there for the interception. And it will be a touchback, but that'll be the final play of the first half. So Nelson will get the interception, but the half comes to an end, and what a first half for the Champlin Park Rebels. Oh, they're apparently calling for a video review, now confirmed, as Nelson with the interception, and we come to halftime here. Our score at the half is Champlin Park 21, Lakeville North 7. We'll be back with our halftime here on CCX Sports.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
$145 over 92.
180 over 111.
I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Welcome back as you get a look inside U.S. Bank Stadium away from the field here. A great first half for Champlin Park, leading it by a score of 21-7. Well, of course, we at CCX, or as we're known under former names, have covered Champlin Park sports right since day one when the school opened. And a few years back, they celebrated 25 years of Champlin Park football, and I had a chance to go down memory lane for a story for our Sports Jam show, and let's take a look at that now. 25 years ago this fall, Champlin Park High School opened and the Rebels football program kicked off. While everything was new and exciting, it wasn't all smooth sailing to start in 1992.
Unlike some schools that have started out later, they kind of learned from our situation and they chose to do a JV schedule only that first year and then do a varsity the second year. We didn't do that. We went and played a varsity schedule that first year, and we took our knocks a little bit.
The upperclassmen weren't required to come over to Champlin Park, and so we had kind of a unique group of juniors and seniors,
And I just remember the first year opening up, and we didn't even have phones on this end of the building. I remember being about 3 or 4 days into practice, and Coach Herman, who started the program here, his son was out there actually on his bike, and he was going to be a 9th grader. And after about 4 days of practice, we looked at him. I said, Tate, you better go home and get your pads because we're going to need you.
I remember Tom Van Voris and I were talking before the season started, and we said, okay, whatever we do, we don't want to know anything about our kids' football background. We didn't want to come in with any preconceived biases about who could play, who couldn't play. We actually went back into the locker room then and did exactly what we said we weren't going to do, and found out that probably 90% of the kids hadn't played football before or hadn't played much football before. Their background was very limited.
The Rebels were, not surprisingly, winless in that first season and won 1 game in 1993. But it wasn't long before this was a program on the rise. The Rebels won 8 games in 1995 and entered a great stretch in the late 1990s and 2000s. They made Prep Bowl appearances in 1998 and 2002 and won 5 conference and 3 section titles from 98 to 2008.
Being a part of the Prep Bowl, being a part of just, the whole system, going down to the Metrodome and stuff like that, the things you do different next time, and all those kind of things. So you'd like to get back sometime to be able to try some of those other ideas out.
98, I mean, we kind of knew coming in what a special group that was. They'd had success. I mean, and those kids were a really tight group. And that was their ultimate goal, and I mean, and they spent a lot of time trying to achieve that. 2002 again was a group that that kind of came out of nowhere, and we weren't really expected to do that well, and we had a kid come in and play quarterback, Jake Nelson and stuff, and I think we kind of surprised a lot of people.
Those glory years featured some outstanding players, guys like future NFL players Ramon Humber and Komanyan Quay. The Marish brothers, aptly named linebackers Mike and Sam. Record-setting runner Riza Mahmoud and gutsy running back Caven Shear. A couple of players we talked to have some fond memories of their time as Champlin Park football players.
That 04 run we had and going to the Dome for the semis, we had a pretty stacked team. It was fun with those guys, being with those guys through that fall, and a lot of us are still really good friends now to this day. So it was an epic year for us.
It was great because we were, at the time, kind of living in Anoka in Blaine's shadow. We were the new school, the new kid on the block, and nothing was really done. We had a hockey team make it to state in '96, and so that was, and our baseball team was pretty competitive, but the football team was always still in Anoka and Blaine's shadow, and coming out and beating each of them twice that year was pretty special.
While their success on the field was noteworthy, Champlin Park football was put in the spotlight statewide and even nationally when their volunteer strength coach, Jesse Ventura, was elected governor of Minnesota.
Out on the field, the day after he got elected, on the practice field, we're trying to go out and get, practice going, and you couldn't even find blacktop to walk out to get on there because it was covered with media. And media was all up and down, and we walked out going, holy cow. I mean, it was crazy. It was like nothing I ever saw. I thought I was at a circus.
I think a lot of people think that Coach Ventura came on when he was going to be governor, and it was kind of one of those things where he could get some publicity. And if you really know the story, that's not at all true. Number one, the kids loved him. Number two, the kids had some experiences because of his connection with us that they would never, ever have had, and they'll never forget.
The Rebels were 5-3 in this 25th anniversary regular season and haven't had as much success in recent years. They aren't the shiny new school anymore, but an established program that the coaches take great pride in being part of.
You stay in coaching because it's rewarding to watch young men grow and become young adults and go on. But I think the most rewarding thing is when they really become adults and they circle back and they still want to see the program succeed, and they're still involved. And you get those emails from guys that haven't been here for 10 years and they're still looking on Saturday morning and following the program. So I think that tells you that they're pretty proud of what they were involved in, and you had a little piece in that.
It's everything. I think that's why we still do it. With all the changing and the way things are, I think it's because we're together and we're a group and we're a family. I think that's why we hang out and we keep coming back every fall.
Well, quite a colorful and interesting and good history, considering that the school hasn't been around all that many years. I had a ton of fun doing that story a few years back, and great memories throughout the history of Champlin Park football, and they're creating some great ones here in this 2019 season as well. 21-7 Rebels at halftime. We'll be back with more here from U.S. Bank Stadium, the home of the Vikings, up next.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back here to U.S. Bank Stadium. 21-7 Champlin Park leading Lakeville North at halftime as we take a look at some first half highlights. And Champlin Park has played very well. Coming out, there's Jace Miller, had to get a re-wrap on that broken pinky, but it doesn't seem to have affected his throwing as he gets blasted right there. But he has had a great first half despite being under heavy pressure. This time taking a huge sack as the Panthers all over him, but they've been able to use that aggressiveness against him. Look at that great move by Brock Johnson. That went for 56 yards and a touchdown to get things started on the scoring front.
Again, using that Lakeville North defense, their aggressiveness against them. A little pump fake, got to that second level, and a great job by Johnson.
Miller stepping up, and he finds Evan Hammonds, who just stumbles and falls inside the 3, and then it sets up Jace Miller right after Ryan said, this feels like it'll be a Jace run, and there he goes running through him.
Yeah, he's had a great first half.
Nelson under some pressure here, and he gets dumped right there by Noah Link, who we just saw coming up with the sack right there. Miller giving it to Shipman, a huge gap to run through there, and it was 21-0. Boy, there was only a minute 26 to go before the half. It really looked like a Rebels half, but Lakeville North coming back strong. This one nearly picked, but Freeberg makes the catch. And then a couple of big runs by Raja Nelson. And moments later, they are in the end zone. So that was big for them to get on the board, I think, to make this a 21-7 instead of 21-0.
Yeah, 2 scores. They feel like they're back into this game now. So that was a big drive there by the Panthers. But look at that total yardage, 290. But the thing that stands, 262 passing yards in the first half. Unbelievable.
4 penalties, both teams taking 15-yard unsportsmanlikes late in the half, which really hurt both teams potentially there too. As it turned out, Champlin Park didn't score, but Mose had a taunting penalty that cost them 15 after they were getting some momentum going, and then you saw Nelson right at the end of the half to pick off.
Yeah, and so really that turnover is kind of negated. That was a throw into the end zone, but yeah, you got to remember Lakeville North was driving. They were moving the ball and then had that fumble. But I'll tell you, you drop a first half, this offense for Champlin Park was just in a great rhythm. They got to keep that going. You just can't let your guard down when you're playing against a team like Lakeville North, who's been here, done that, won championships. This opening drive, I think, Jay, really sets the tone. If Champlin Park's going to get the ball, if they can march down and score, take some time off that clock, I think that's going to put them in obviously an excellent position to win this game.
I think what you said late in the first half is very true, though. They can't be thrilled that they're ahead. They need to still be in attack mode and continue to go at it aggressively, and that includes everything from play calling to the players.
Well, and you saw with a minute 40 left, they kind of got a little complacent, I think, on that last drive, almost in a prevent, and it took away some of their aggressiveness. And Lakeville North, hats off to them. They executed a couple of big plays, able to get that score. I think that was big for them, but Champlin Park deferred. They get the ball. Now they have the chance. We saw them come out of the gates beautifully in the second half last week against Rosemount. See if they can double up on that performance.
Johnson and Evan Hammonds waiting back deep. Fisk with the kick, and it will be fielded on about the 3-yard line by Johnson. Johnson gets through a little seam, shrugs off a tackle, and then he is brought down out around the 27-yard line. So that's what's kind of fun about high school football too, is you see nobody's saving their best guys and saying, oh, we don't have them return kicks or whatever. Heck, Roger Nelson, the quarterback, is playing defense all the time for Lakeville North. So you go with your best when you need them here at these important games.
Well, and that's what I think great coaches separate themselves, is they find a way to get their best players in the game and in positions to make plays. And Nick Keenan's done a great job of that all year long, really just getting good talent, developing good talent, but putting them in systems and plays and a scheme where they can be successful and be at their best.
He really had a lot of praise for just kind of the leadership of this senior group and everything too. That, you know, I don't think it was a given that they were going to be a great team coming into this year, but they worked very hard in the off season. He was happy about that. The culture, he said, you know, no real off the field problems, and they good students and things like that. And as I kind of have found, the longer we've been doing this and the longer people coach, those things matter.
Absolutely.
It isn't just about what you do on Friday nights.
Yep.
Shipman goes for 3 on the first down play. 2nd down and 7 now for Champlin Park. See if Lakeville North makes some adjustments after giving up some big chunk plays through the passing game. There's Shipman taking the handoff, trying to rip it free from him as he was wrapped up from behind by Mines there.
Yeah, in adjustments, you hit on it. Great coaches, great teams, they adjust at halftime. You can come into a game with the game plan, and you know what, if it's not working, you scratch that, and now it's about what you do to adjust and to take away what the opponent's doing well. And Brian Vossen's been doing this for a long time, obviously with great success. And Nick Keenan, coming from Eden Prairie, playing at Eden Prairie, and now coaching here, he's certainly doing a great job of it too. And that's kind of the chess match that's fun to watch.
3rd down and 3. Miller incomplete. Got rid of it in a hurry there, trying to set up a screen to Shipman. And so the Panthers get exactly what they want. And I was thinking of that earlier too, Ryan, that, you know, both teams have taken a loss this year, and they've both played a lot of really good football teams. So, you know, they've had a little bit of adversity here and there, and I think that helps. When once in a while you see teams that have just mowed through everybody on the way, and they get down here, and all of a sudden for the first time there's somebody who's just as good or just as athletic, and they don't know what to do.
And they don't know how to respond. Absolutely.
Vogelpohl on to punt it here for Champlin Park. It's a low snap, and he hits it off the side of his foot. Oh, and then it's juggled. That was quite a gamble by Curtis. Obviously, he wasn't the intended return man. Ball kind of found him, and then he juggled it, was able to get back on it. That was almost a disaster there for Lakeville North after the low snap and rushed punt.
Well, nice job scooping that up again with not, getting his knee down, but kind of rushed the delivery of the kick, got off the side of the foot, and yeah, nice job by Curtis there. Once it hit him, just to be able to have the wherewithal to get on it and keep possession for Lakeville North. So great start here for the second half for the Panthers.
Nelson trying to hand off, the ball's on the turf. Freeberg tried to pick it up, and now it's recovered by Champlin Park. Miles with the recovery. Big mistake by Freeberg trying to pick that up.
What's so crazy, Jay, is I was just starting to get the feel like Lakeville North got to stop, got the ball back, good field position, and then that ball just some juggling right from the beginning. And great effort by DJ Miles to fight through and come up with that recovery.
Well, they had the original, but watch Freeberg right there. Big mistake trying to pick that ball up, and he was hit from the side by Moore.
I was going to say, Devon Moore did a great job of tackling Freeberg there before he could really get possession of it. That was great team defense, and you can see the smile on that young man's face. He made a big-time play for his team.
So now the Rebels have it at the 44 of Lakeville North after the Panthers had forced a quick punt. They turn it over. Jace Miller looking to throw, now chased out of there. Gets away from one, and then will be forced out of bounds there as he was pursued by Mines.
That's a tremendous effort to pick up, maybe a yard or maybe right back to the line of scrimmage. He was under duress there, and again, great great agility to get out of the pocket and avoid getting the sack from behind. Just great effort to get back to the line of scrimmage.
So it will be a 2nd down and 10 here for Champlin Park. And I don't think it's really in Lakeville North's DNA to not be continuing to pressure. They're still going to be aggressive there. And Miller did a good job at least to avoid the sack, but it'll kind of a win at the same time, too, for the defense. Be 2nd and 10. Out for Brock Johnson, gets by 1, and then it has to curl up in a little ball there to avoid a hit. They'll only gain about 2, maybe 3 yards on the play.
Well, I was just going to say, let's see if they get back to some quick throws to negate that pressure. And I'll tell you, Brock Johnson makes that first guy miss, and he makes a really smart player. Watch him get low, Jay. He knows contact's coming, so he just ducks and goes under it. And by doing that, probably got an extra half a yard out of it, as opposed to taking the contact and getting driven back.
So 3rd down and 7 coming up here for Champlin Park, leading 21-7. They've just forced a fumble, recovered a fumble of Lakeville North's. Miller flaring it out. Shipman, a nice catch on a throw that was behind him, and they try and yank it free from him. He'll be down at the 40, way short of the 1st down, only about a 2-yard gain.
Oh, this might be an interesting decision here for Champlin Park. On a short field, 4th and about 5, maybe 5.5 yards. Looks like they're keeping their offense out. Like the aggressiveness here. Now you got to execute.
Yeah, in some ways it'd be tempting to really try and pin them deep here, but they feel like they have an opportunity to pick this up. It's a long 5 to go. And maybe Miller will punt it. Yes, that's what we're going to see. Miller, high, very short kick though, and it takes a bad bounce for the Rebels. It'll be down around the 24-yard line, so they only got about 16 out of that one.
And see, for something like that, in retrospect, then you're like, we might as well just go for it. If we don't pick it up, it's not a big deal. But I like the call, showing that they're going to go for it. Maybe you catch them off guard and you can pin them, within the 10-yard line. But got a bad bounce off the turf there, and so not much of a difference there in field position.
Yeah, if that one turns over and goes the other direction on the bounce, you're looking at probably you're looking at another 15 yards or so probably, instead of it bouncing back toward the line of scrimmage. So at the 24, Roger Nelson and company back with it. Freeburg hit by Evalecha and dropped. Boy, when he gets to somebody, they generally go down.
Well, we said in the pregame, this whole team is, but specifically Obi right there, he's a phenomenal tackler. You don't see him and Noah Link or Anakin Yang or even Sam Canoe, any of those guys, when they get a one-on-one tackling opportunity, they very rarely miss.
Gain of 1 for Freeburg on that play for the Panthers, so 2nd down and 9 coming up here. About 4 minutes into the 3rd quarter, 21-7 Champlin Park our score. That was the score at half. Nelson will give it to Freeburg again, and there's Evalecha again with the stop, although this one was certainly a little bit better gain, so pick up about 6 on that play.
Well, nice job up front that time by the Panthers, holding their blocks, and Obi could not drive into that tackle. He kind of had to absorb that tackle, and then you saw Freeburg fire forward and pick up a nice gain there on 2nd down.
So 3rd and about 4 coming up here for Lakeville North, and you don't know, not going to be a ton more possessions in this game. They're going to have to be productive with the chances they get, down by 2 scores. Nelson's going to run it. And he is hit and dropped. He'll be short of the 1st down, I think. Well, maybe not. It'll be close. Yeah, looks like he'll have it. Yes, going to be a 1st down.
Looks like he got a pretty good spot on that, a healthy spot. That was pretty well defensed that time by the Rebels, but just a power sweep there.
Link.
I mean, that's a really poor spot. He was a yard short of where they ended up spotting that football.
So at the 34-yard line, a set of new downs here for the Panthers. Back to Freeburg on the left side, has some room and just chopped down by Cam Hammonds. And he will have enough for a 1st down again. And he's hurt.
Almost did a flip and kind of landed right on his neck, head area.
Hammonds goes low on him here.
Oh. You see, there's a tackle low and then kind of hit and right into his head and neck. That's scary.
Yeah, they are being cautious of the neck. I thought at first that he was more reacting like it was the leg where the hit occurred, but maybe not.
I mean,
might have been more so the body landing.
He was completely flipped upside down, and not only that, but when you got that hit low, and then I couldn't tell who hit him. It almost drove him into the ground a little bit harder. That was an awkward landing. And anytime you have a head and neck in something, that's scary stuff.
And he is able to get up, so great news there. Freeburg will be helped off as the Panther fans giving him a hand. And yeah, those kind can be really scary. It's great to see him up and walking around.
Yep. From a football standpoint, it'll be interesting without him in the game, who kind of picks up the slack. My guess is you're going to see more of Rajah Nelson with the ball in his hands.
That's exactly what we get right here. Oh, and a great spin move there. Moore rides him down, but he'll pick up another first down, a gain of 11 more there for Rajah Nelson. And the Panthers, as much as they struggled early, have gotten things going offensively. Look at that spin move. Wow. Cam Hammonds, I don't think he even got a hand on him. The spin move was a thing of beauty.
And the thing is, he did it early enough where it really set it up perfectly. And you don't see great spin moves like that often in football. That was a beautiful move.
Here's Nelson again. Patient behind his blocks. Knutson punished him a little at the end, but it'll be a pickup of about 8 more for Rajah Nelson. Sometimes it isn't always just about going fast. It's about having good eyes to see what you got in front of you, too.
Well, and it's the old Le'Veon Bell in the NFL. Kind of a different style of running, but it's so effective. You can see they're checking out Logan Freeburg there on the sideline. But, you know, for Lakeville North, you're going to see number 7, and you're going to see him a lot. And so far, so good for them.
Well defended this time, but he might still have enough for the first down.
And if I'm the Rebels, Jay, I'm trying to deliver a hit every time I can. When number 7 has that football, if he's going to run it a bunch more now you got to make him feel it. You got to start wearing him down if you can, because he's so elusive, so quick.
See the trainers working with Freeburg there. So 1st and 10 now from the Champlin Park 34. Panthers down by 14, but on the march. Nelson looking to throw. Tipped in the air, and it is intercepted by Moore.
What a play by Devon Moore. Holy bucket. Jay, did he one-hand that interception? It looked like he tipped it and then caught it with his one hand.
Boy, there's concentration, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
To stick with that one. He actually kind of almost made it look routine or easy, but it wasn't.
If that's not our Chick-fil-A play of the week next week, I don't know what will be. Look at his left hand, gets the tip here, and then he reaches over the defender and just one-hands it in his left hand. That's a spectacular football play. Wow. 3rd turnover of the game for this Rebel defense, and do you think his teammates are fired up? What a play by Moore. Unbelievable.
Miller throwing, and that one is going to be picked off the other way by Curtis. No, he's out of bounds. Incomplete.
I think that was one-handed too, but yeah, I think that's a good call. His feet were out of bounds when he possessed that. The 2 pretty spectacular interceptions back to back. Unfortunately for the Panthers, I don't think that one's going to count.
2nd down and 10 now for the Rebels. We'll get another look. Juggled. Ooh,
I don't know. Yeah, he might have got it. Remember, you only got to get the 1 foot down.
And we do have replay here in these semifinals, and I think that's what we're getting buzzed down right now is another look at it.
Play is under review.
Yep. They are going to take another look. There's a possibility this will stand as an interception.
Yeah, it looked like he might have got one of those feet down before. Now remember, he bobbled it to start, but it looked like he possessed it and then might have gotten a foot down before going out of bounds.
And obviously only 1 foot needed in high school football.
An interception or not, the Rebel offense looks a little unsteady in the second half. That was one of the first times all day Jace Miller has maybe not made a great decision. So the ball is not possessed there. It's still in the air, but I think he got that left foot down.
I would agree. I think this may very well be Panthers football.
The question is, did he absolutely possess it? Like right there, it looks like that ball is possessed with that left foot inbounds. Great job by our awesome crew there capturing that, but that one might be flipped here. It might be Lakeville North ball.
So for the moment, an incompletion, but it could very well be flipped into an interception. And boy, this is ultimately going to turn out to be a huge play here, huh? Especially considering where it is on the field.
The other thing too, when you got a 2-score lead, everything feels a little bit more comfortable. You know, if that were to go down to, when it goes down to 1 score, things start to get tight. I mean, this obviously would give the Panthers great field position here, but back to back, whether this stands or not, that was a wonderful catch too. Was it Curtis with the interception?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and we saw a replay, a call overturned in the 4A semifinal that was played right before this, that Hutchinson was thought they had thrown an incomplete pass. It was later it was ruled to be a fumble, and SMB then was just able to run out the clock.
Yeah, you want to get the call right. But we also saw in that game, that was a good 5-6 minute delay in doing the replay. We want to try to get this in a pretty timely fashion so you don't lose the rhythm of the football game as well.
Looks like you might be ready for the call.
The ruling on the field has changed. It is an interception. It will be 1st and 10, Lakeville North on the 29-yard line.
So indeed it is overturned, and I would have to say rightly so based on that replay. And Curtis, like you said, that was just about as good of an interception as we saw a moment ago from Moore.
Yeah, we've seen tonight, all night long, Jace Miller making great decisions with the football. And that time, I think he was thrown to a receiver that wasn't open. Two defensive backs right there, and just a great athletic catch by Curtis there, not only to one-handed, but also to get that foot down before he went out of bounds. So back-to-back plays, back-to-back interception, and it's going to be Panther football.
Nelson has a gap up the middle, and he lunges forward there as he's wrapped up by Cam Hammonds, but he'll be down to the 20. Give him about 9 on that carry. You just got almost a double wing look there, and Nelson just running it straight ahead.
Well, and they're getting man-on-man blocking. That time, Ryan Mudgett, who's their linebacker, number 8, did a lead block, and he got Eva Lecha right there one-on-one and drove him back, and that freed up the nice run by Nelson.
Sometimes what's old is new again in high school football. I mean, we're seeing tomorrow night, we're going to see a Lakeville South team that runs the same offense as we saw Elk River when they played Armstrong a couple weeks ago. Offenses that kind of look like they might be about 80 years old, but they can be effective.
Well, I saw a great stat today, Jay, that the three heaviest rushing teams in the NFL are the Vikings, the Ravens, and the 49ers, and coincidentally, all three of the best teams in the NFL. So it still comes down to, blocking, tackling, and your offense and defensive lines. And if you can block better and tackle better, you're usually going to win those games. And right now, they're blocking, and Raja Nelson's just reading it.
From the 16, first down, Evalecha with the stop, but it's about a 5-yard pickup again by Nelson. That O-line is just starting to really lean on Champlin Park and open up some holes. And you get the feeling the Panthers would be content to just do the same thing all the way till they're in that purple paint.
Well, and you got to remember, Logan Freeberg out of the game, their leading rusher, and there you see him coming back in. So it's good to see number 4 in there. But since he had left, it's been all Raja Nelson. If you're Champlin Park, you start bringing some guys, more guys in that box saying, hey, we're going to try to take this run away.
Freeberg bounced off Link's tackle attempt and surges to about the 10, maybe a little bit inside, but he'll be stopped short of the first down certainly there. Third and 4 coming up here for Lakeville North. Kind of goes without saying in 4-down territory here, though, especially considering that we're late in the third and they're down by 2 scores. So I don't think kicking is going to be an option here. Nelson looking to throw now. We'll tuck it and run. Nelson bouncing it to the outside, gets around Moore, and he'll walk in for the touchdown. Lakeville North on the board for the second time in the game as Raja Nelson just using that speed. You could see the angle wasn't there like it probably would be against most quarterbacks in that situation.
He's just got that next level athleticism and burst, and I think that was a design quarterback draw. He went in the middle and he read there's nothing there, bounced it out to the left, and it's a foot race. And there's not too many people in the state of Minnesota that have the speed to catch up or contain Raja Nelson. That's why he's so electric. That's why he combined for 26 touchdowns coming into this game.
Fisk able to boot it through on a great hold there by Nelson. That was, again, a low snap. And they're able to convert. And it's 21-14. If you thought the Panthers were done, guess again.
See quarterback draw right up the middle, and you see it stuffed, and right there he just kicks it out. And you almost got to take a different kind of an angle to catch him. You can't go from that point. You got to go down the field to try to catch him. When he makes that decision right there, it's over with because he's just got such good speed. Lakeville North, I think, starting to believe that they're back in this game. And right now, if you're Champlin Park, I think this drive is huge. Their offense has sputtered here a little bit in the second half. They got to sustain a drive, even if they weren't to put any points up, but they got to get a little bit of that momentum back on their side.
Yeah, you almost get the feeling that even though I know this, they're saying otherwise, like they've been sort of like trying to protect this lead for the rest of the game, and now they still have the lead. They're still up by 7, but the trend is definitely in favor of the guys in the white and red.
They need to get that rhythm back that they had in the first half, running quick throws. And Jace Miller, you're a senior. You've been wonderful all year in the last couple of games especially. You just made a big mistake. How do you combat that? How do you come back and make some big plays for your team?
Brock Johnson on the return. Jordan Wall the stop for Lakeville North as Champlin Park will have it at the 27-yard line here, first down and 10. Haven't really done a lot offensively here in the second half after a really lights-out air game mostly in the first half.
260-something yards throwing in the first half and just not much of a rhythm here. So big drive for Champlin Park.
Miller giving Shipman an instruction here as they get things lined up. Hand off to Shipman, and he is hit early and driven back. And not much there, maybe a yard, if that, as he was hit first by Zach Krause. Yeah, it will be about a 1-yard gain for Shipman. So second down and long coming up here for Champlin Park. I think they're going to need to score some more if they're going to win this football game.
Yeah, remember, and sometimes you overthink things. You got to remember what was working in that first half. Those quick throws, those slants, play action, a pump fake, maybe take a shot down the middle in those seams. That's what was open in the first half, and credit the Panthers for adjusting.
Back to Shipman they go, and he runs into a tackler there and is wrapped up and brought down. And again, they were up strong to take that one away. Noah Nephew met him, and then Shipman looked like he was a little upset at the end there, and his teammates pulling him back.
Yeah, surprised actually to see a run there on second down. I thought they might throw it there. Now you know it's a down and distance that you're going to throw, and when you got that front four that Lakeville North has, they pin those ears back and can get a good push.
2 receivers to each side. Big 3rd down and 10 coming up as we go under a minute to play in the third. Champlin Park still leading, but the momentum certainly with Lakeville North now. Miller hit, almost intercepted as Patterson got both hands on that one. It'll fall incomplete and bring up a punting situation for the Rebels.
And again, watch the bottom of your screen. Look at that pass rush, the quickness by Landon Carter on the edge. I think he forced Jace Miller to have to throw that before he was ready, and got just enough on where it looked like he couldn't really follow through and get enough on that ball, and almost intercepted again. So again, that Rebel offense just a little bit out of sync here on their 3rd drive of the second half.
Vogelpohl on to punt. Quick 3 and out again. The rush nearly got there. And this one will take a great bounce for Champlin Park, and will go sideways to about the 33-yard line. About a 40-yard punt with the roll included, but Lakeville North will have it at the 33. 37 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. And the Panthers with the momentum as they try and make a comeback. They were down 21-0. Now 21-14, and they get the football back.
And again, let's go back to that drive right before half where they were able to punch it in with 1:40 left. After Champlin Park went up 21-0, that drive, I think, really gave them life. And, of course, they've come out here in the second half and really dominated both offensively and defensively.
Nelson's going to take it here on the right side. Nelson into the secondary, and then is cartwheeled down out to the 47. He'll give it a gain of 14 on that play as they have continued to rip open holes here late in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and he runs with that patience, but he's allowing that push up front to really develop, and he's not getting contact till he's 5 or 6 yards down the field. And Lakeville North has said, we are going to Rajah Nelson every time here in the second half, and it's been very, very successful.
Under 10 seconds to go. This might be the last play of the 3rd quarter here. Nelson will run it to the right side. The ball comes loose. It's picked up. And they're blowing it down.
Wow.
Josh Strong picked it up and looked like he'll be off to the races, but they're going to say that Nelson was down. And now Champlin Park saying, how about one of those reviews for us?
It's funny, though, even if you get the review and you get the turnover, you don't get the points.
Return. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if they'll take a look at this one again. Let's see, Nelson. It's Evalecha who hits him.
That ball's out.
It's coming out. Yeah. So Strong then scooped it, and now even if they get, like we said, even if they get this call, the return's not going to count, but they could very well get the ball.
Yeah, that ball is out before he is on the ground. You know, what's surprising is I would have thought they would have let the play develop and let the score happen and then review it.
Yeah, they are indeed reviewing it. Well, I'll tell you what, though, Ryan, even though you may be right about that, again, we go through an entire season with these officials not having review available or anything, and so to ask them to all of a sudden be used to it now, I think is kind of a tall order, a tough ask.
It is, but I think if you know you're having that review, you allow the play to develop, and then you can correct it. Now, like we just mentioned, even if Champlin Park gets the ball, they're going to get the ball at midfield, which is great, but they would have had 6 points out of that play. So you end up penalizing the team by not allowing the play to happen. And then you can always look back, and if he was down, great, Lakeville North ball where it was, but I think you allow that play to happen. and then review it. So turnovers, right? We talked about turnovers, and Lakeville North just dominating the second half, but a couple of costly turnovers. And if they do review this and change it, and it's Champlin Park ball, maybe that's the spark that the Rebels need to kind of jumpstart their offense going into the fourth quarter.
Looks as though they may be ready for.
Field has changed. Champlin Park will get the ball 1st and 10 at the 46. They do not get the advancement. That is the end of the third quarter.
So the Rebels do get the ball. They lead at 21-14. The fourth quarter is up next. Welcome back. The Rebels didn't get a chance for the return, but Josh Strong will get a fumble recovery. And Champlin Park has the football as we begin quarter number 4 at the 46-yard line of Lakeville North. Miller's going to hand it off. Shipman will pick up 46 of Lakeville North, and now they'll move it about 3 yards or so. So 2nd and 6 coming up here for Champlin Park. Holding on to a 21-14 lead. Boy, that turnover is huge, although it's not as huge as it would have been with the return.
Yeah, we were talking during the break. I think that's just one you got to let play out, and it's still a great play for Champlin Park. But with an offense that's struggling, that would have been huge to get 6 on defense, because they're just not. They seem to have gone conservative here, and one of the things is maybe his thumb or his pinky is bothering him more now. Since halftime, they're just not throwing some of the passes and some of the play calls that we saw in the first half. They seem very conservative, and part of that might be they trust their defense to hold here. But you get a turnover, you're at great field position. This is where you got to take a shot down the field and try to get a big play offensively.
3rd and 5 as Miller picked up about a yard on that last carry and paid the price there too. Mudgett hit him pretty strong. Here's Miller rolling out. Miller, a flag is down, and so is Jace Miller as he'll be sacked. Probably going to be a hold based on where the flag flew. This one may very well be declined.
Holding. Offense, number 23. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So we'll bring up a 4th down as the sack will force them back to about the 46. Third sack for the Panthers, and now Champlin Park facing a 4th and 10. See if they'll really go for it, or if Miller isn't going to intend to kick it again like he did earlier. Looks like he will. And a low liner, and this one might be good for the Rebels. It'll be down to around the 11-yard line there. And so they'll pin Lakeville North deep. They've got about 90, well, a little bit short of that, 88 yards to go here. 10-12 remaining, 21-14 Champlin Park lead. And again, as well as things went offensively in the first half, Champlin Park struggled to get things going in the second, and give Lakeville North credit a lot on that too.
Yeah, I just have to wonder, because of the dramatic difference, if there's not something with his hand that they maybe don't feel comfortable doing some of the same throws, because they just look completely different than they did in the first half. And we'll see Lakeville North really moving the ball on offense. Let's see if Champlin Park's able to make some adjustments here.
Freeberg broke the first tackle, but not the second. Miles able to wrap him up and bring him down. And Freeberg looks like he's hurt again. Remember, he went out a few moments ago with an injury, and this will be a loss of about 3 or maybe even 4.
Yeah, one of the few plays where Lakeville North has not had a positive gain. And I'll tell you, when Freeberg got tackled, it looked like he got thrown back into the knee of one of his offensive linemen. See if he didn't hit the back of his head here. Right there. And watch him get thrown back, and his neck and head. Remember that fall he had earlier in the game. Kind of getting spun around right into the knee.
Game clock operator, please. Put the game clock to 9.
Well, let's take a look at some of what we've got coming up on CCX Sports. Obviously, this is great football, and we'll be back here. John Jacobson will be filling the play-by-play spot for that one. Lakeville South and Wayzata, a great football matchup in the semifinals. And then we kind of start making the transition toward winter season. We've got girls hockey Tuesday night, and then the big Turkey Trot boys hockey tournament hosted by Wayzata and at Plymouth Ice Center, Maple Grove, Edina, Moorhead, Wayzata. And we'll have Friday and Saturday night coverage for you this year on CCX. And Freeberg up to a sitting position, but boy, you have to kind of think, like, when this happens twice in one half, you don't maybe want to take a chance with it. And Freeberg will be escorted off here with that injury.
Yeah, I would venture to guess that with a second questionable injury to that head or neck, that he's probably going to be done for the game. He's ran the ball hard tonight, and he's taken a couple of big hits too. Remember, when he went out of the game last time, it was all Raja Nelson with that ball. So I'm Champlin Park. I'm loading up the line of scrimmage. I'm bringing my safeties down, and I'm forcing Lakeville North to have to beat me throwing the football. I'm not letting Raja Nelson beat me with his legs.
2nd and 13. They're going to go with the toss, and Mose is looking to throw downfield into coverage, and it will be incomplete, as it was well defended by the Rebels. Lincoln Bowe, the intended receiver, as Mose throwing that one.
Yeah, nice play call too. A little trickery there, and I think right at the last second got some good pressure, and that's where Champlin Park, you got to get your head around, try to make a play on that ball. But nice job by the Rebel defense here. They won first down. They got that loss of 3, and now you put Lakeville North in a 3rd and really long. You got to contain Raja Nelson, keep them in front of you here, and make them have to punt. Big 3rd down here for Champlin Park's defense.
Nelson going to run a quarterback draw. Spin move, but down he goes. Not much there. A short gain of maybe 2, and it will bring up 4th and long. And as much as you don't want to give the ball up here for Lakeville North, boy, you really almost have to punt here.
It'd be, if it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2 with Raja Nelson, maybe you say, hey, we think he's the most spectacular player in Minnesota. We're going to let him go. But when it's 4th and 11, that's a hard ask. And either way, Champlin Park here are going to get pretty good field position, even if they don't return this punt.
Nelson to kick. Very high kick. Hammond's calling for and making a fair catch at about the 42. So 31-yard punt, but again, great field position after the stop. And as many twists and turns as this game has had, that stop right there might ultimately be one that you're talking about at the end of the night.
Well, and every year, teams that make it to the Prep Bowl or win a Prep Bowl, they have a championship-level drive. And right now is one of those with 9 minutes left. If Champlin Park could sustain a drive here and punch it in and go up 2 scores, you got to feel like that would probably seal this game with as good as their defense is. So right now they played complementary football all year long. The defense does their job. This offense has to get out of the funk that they've been in here in the second half and put some points on this board.
Shipman takes a handoff, and that time a good gap. One of their better positive runs of late here, and he'll gain about 5 to the 37.
You know, and on this drive too, taking 35, 37 seconds on each play, right? Your clock right now is your friend. You want to wind this down, keep moving that football.
Miller directing traffic here. Going to throw it out for Brock Johnson. Uh-oh, that one was sniffed out very well by the Panthers. Brandon Hoovey able to get there and make an immediate stop. Going to be a loss on the play.
And that's a play they've had great success with this year, and a couple times even tonight, but a nice job by Huey. Look at him get off of the block by Hammonds. He just was able to use his hands, shed that block, and made a great tackle on Brock Johnson.
So 3rd down and 8 coming up here for 3rd and 7. They'll call it for Champlin Park. Panthers needing a stop and try to get the ball back for their offense. Time starting to become an issue. Jace Miller stepping into it, fires, and it is incomplete. Curtis was there defending on Witt. And will be 4th down and long.
Yeah, pretty good coverage by Curtis. He was all over Witt there. Not a lot of room to fit that ball in. And again, you see there's people in front of Jace Miller. It's always hard to throw when you got people at your feet there. You wonder here if they'll still want to punt this and try to pin him again, or are they going to go for it here?
Yeah, looks like he is dropping back as if to punt again. Miller sideways with that one, and it doesn't take a very good bounce either. So that one didn't exactly pin him deep as they were hoping there, around the 27, a 12-yard punt.
You know, in his last punt, he had better success. Jay, he kept it low. You remember he kicked that low line drive. That time he tried to get some air under it. Yeah, you just don't gain very. And again, if you're gonna, you don't know the result, but knowing that you're only going to gain a few yards on the field difference there, you might as well go for it. But again, this Champlin Park offense in the second half, completely neutral, just unable to pick up first down. I don't know if they've gotten a first down in the second half. And again, back on this Rebel defense to come up big as they've done the last couple of possessions.
With that double wing look again here, Nelson looking to throw. Going to heave it up deep downfield and just out of the reach of Mose. Pretty well covered there, although there was a little bit of room to try and fit that one in.
Well, a couple of things, Jay. I think it was, when I saw the play developing, I thought, oh, that's covered great. But if you watch this, Mose gets behind Champlin Park right there, a nice burst of speed. And I think Rajah Nelson has a stronger arm than maybe Champlin Park has given him credit for. He had a good throw on that one, and that almost hit for a really big play over the top.
Here's Rajah Nelson getting to the edge, and he'll be shoved out of bounds at the 32, 33-yard line here.
Nice job by the Panthers sealing that edge on the right side and just allowing that guy right there to get to that outside, get to that second level. And that's a big play on 2nd and 10. You get 5-6 yards and you make it much more favorable down and distance for your offense. And an offense that really is going to run the football. They just haven't had other than maybe one pass completion tonight, they just haven't been able to get any rhythm throwing the football. So you got to feel like they're going to run the football here.
Going to take a timeout first. We remind you of our CCX Sports Play of the Week, presented by Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove. going to be taking a hiatus for the end of the fall season, coming up with winter. A lot of great highlights, though, as we've had a great run this fall of plays of the week, and the viewers get to decide. Again, go to ccxmedia.org to vote for your favorite play of the week. We thank Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove. So obviously an important play coming up here with a 3rd down and 4 for the Panthers. Trying to battle back. They trailed at one point 21-0. It was, for basically most of the first half, it was like Champlin Park could do no wrong. They played a tremendous half. Things haven't gone quite as well since, but they're still in the lead.
Yeah, it really came out, and you could tell their game plan offensively was to throw the football and attack and use that aggressiveness of Lakeville North against them, and they did such a great job of that. Lakeville North adjusting at halftime and really held the Rebel offense in check, and now it's kind of become what we thought it would be at the beginning of the game, a more of a defensive battle here.
Nelson looking to run it up the middle. Miles body slams him down. And he'll be short of the first down by at least 2.
I'll tell you, DJ Miles has had a great game tonight. We've seen him make a number of big tackles, and that one on 3rd and 4, it comes up and looked like Raja Nelson, great patience there. Looked like he had a seam and was going to be able to run, and even if he gets his forward momentum going there, he probably comes close to that first down, but Miles just body slammed him backwards.
So here we go, 4th and 2 for the Panthers. Nelson looking to throw it, and it is incomplete. Look to go to Mose, but threw it low, and it'll be Champlin Park taking over on downs with a huge stop there. Little surprised they threw it there, maybe.
I was just going to say, he almost tried to fake, a punt, and then he was open there, but again, low throw, and Raja Nelson's strength is him with the football in his hands with his legs. I give him the ball and let him run. Champlin Park here in the second half struggled defending him when he's running that football. You take that run away from him, this short side of the field there, really nowhere to go but that. Throw was short.
Yeah, and Miles looked like he might have got a hand on it a little bit there too. It was more of a possible completion than I first thought, looking at it on that replay, and Miles was there to at least bother it. And off here to Sean Shipman. He is stopped almost immediately. And we get a penalty at the end of the play as Witt was thrown down there by Vinny Zolsdorf. And this might be going against the Panthers, I think. Boy, where you get a nice stop and then follow through and pick up a 15-yarder, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Dead ball, personal foul, 5, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, that's an enormous penalty right there.
Well, that's the biggest play of the second half for Champlin Park. So when your defense is playing as well as the Panthers are and just stuffing the run and no rhythm on offense, and you get a penalty like that, especially with a short field too, that's huge.
I have to admit, I only saw really the tail end of that as they were, trying to block and trying to get off the block, and just kind of didn't stop on the whistle, I guess.
I saw Dom Witt get thrown back. That's kind of all I saw. They looked like they were getting tangled up after that play.
Shipman takes the handoff, and he is knocked down there as, Landon Carter's so good he doesn't even really need to use anything but his arm there to kind of.
He almost tackled him backwards. He was facing the other direction. He just disruptive. Watch him get his way into the play right there. I mean, he's almost backwards, not even trying to make the tackle, and he makes a tackle. He's a heck of a football player. He looks like a football player, doesn't he?
2nd down and 10 here for the Rebels, trying to burn as much clock as they can here. The aid of that penalty has really altered this complexion of this drive. Jace Miller will run it here. Force back inside, and he'll have a short gain there. Nice job by the Panthers to get out on the edge there to make him cut.
Well, and I thought Jace did a nice job. I thought that was going to be a loss of 2 or 3. He was able to at least turn the corner and kind of dive forward and get a positive play out of it.
So 3rd down and 9 here for the Rebels as we tick under 5 minutes to play in this one. Boy, do you dare think about trying a field goal if you don't get much
I thought
here?
maybe if they got another 5 or 6 yards on this play.
Miller to Shipman, and he'll be cut down at the 15, so it'll leave him with 4th and about 5.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go kick a field goal. You can see them bringing the Vogel pole out there, and I thought that was huge. That extra 5 yards there, 4 or 5 yards, is big because instead of a 38 to 40 yarder, now you're looking at about a 33, 32 yarder. And again, indoor, you got all the great elements. And this is huge, Jake. If he is able to make this, you go up 2 scores with the way your defense is playing. And remember, too, Logan Freeberg out of the game. So you got to figure this is a huge, huge kick.
Witt is the holder, 32-yard attempt for Vogelpohl. He drills it, and it is good. Wow. Vogelpohl stretches the lead to 10 with a clutch field goal.
Oh, that's a big-time snap, big-time hold, everything executed perfectly, and he drills it. What a big kick. And what a weapon to have in high school football, a consistent kicker and a holder and snapper that you trust, too, and excellent job. And he hammered it. You see the white jerseys ascending on him there, and just great concentration to nail it through.
So a 24-14 lead for Champlin Park, and again with this, small amount of time remaining, that is huge to stretch that to a 2-score lead.
Well, a couple things. I think it just stands out how big that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty was to give him those 15 yards. And we saw 2 in the first half. At the end of the half, Champlin Park kind of relaxed there for a second, allowed Lakeville North to score in a hurry. They got to stick to their game plan and play that same level of defense they've played the majority of this game.
Vogelpohl gonna drive it deep here. Moe drifting back to about the 3-yard line. Cutting to the left, there's plenty of room. Moe is now weaving his way back, runs into a little traffic there, and he's brought down as he crossed the 40-yard line. So good return, although it looked like it might be a great return for a moment there. They'll have good field position.
Yeah, and he ran a lot of yards on this. Took it from the right side of the field all the way over to the left and then brought it back to the right. I thought if he just kept it north and south, he might have picked up another 10 or 15 yards. Obviously trying to potentially hit a home run on that, but still a great return and good field position for the Panthers.
Lakeville North has it at their 44. They're going to need to be trying to move the ball quickly. Nelson all day. Now going to step up. And Nelson will try and turn the corner, see where they spot him at about the 49. So give him 5 or so on that one, but well covered by Champlin Park.
Yeah, and if I'm Champlin Park and I see Raja Nelson standing back there to throw, that's a win. We'll cover that. We'll take our chances with that. What's scary is what just happened when he's able to break contain there. And he's just one of those players where you feel like every time he has the ball, he could take it to the house for 6 points. He's that electric. So, if I'm a linebacker, I'm keying on Raja Nelson. I'm not letting him beat us with his legs.
2nd down and 5 here for the Panthers. Nelson looking to pick a spot to run through there. Avalecha knocks him down, and he looks like he'll have the first down perhaps. There's a flag down though. This one,
they're going to get holding.
Come back.
Yep.
Holding, offense, number 71, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So penalties at some inopportune times here for Lakeville North. Looked like they were going to have that first down, and now they're moved back.
You see they're getting it on number 71 right there, Freeze. Oh yeah, definitely a hold. And a hold that only got maybe an extra yard or 2 on the carry too. So it's big penalty there. And instead of a first down, you got 2nd and long.
2nd and 12 from the 42. Raja Nelson looking to throw deep down the sideline for Bo, but it'll be incomplete, out of bounds.
And Champlin Park want to keep everything in front of you. The last thing you want to do as a defense right now is give up a quick strike, a quick touchdown. You'll give up first downs. You'll sustain a drive here if you're on defense, but nothing big, nothing over the top.
So 3rd and a dozen here for Lakeville North, and you know, to be honest, a lot of their throws have been, you know, deep with kind of a low percentage shots, and that one will be incomplete as Mose couldn't come up with it. Moore giving him a shot. Mose asking, was that a little late on the hit, but they apparently say no.
And that's one of those where Moore's just got to let that go. The last thing you want to do, too, right now is get a late hit or an unsportsman, something where you give up 15 yards. And I thought Lakeville North there on 3rd and 12 should have ran Rajon Nelson and pick up 7 or 8 yards, setting up a 4th and manageable. You're in 4th and 12 now. Probably has to be a throw, and I think that's a win if you're a Rebel fan.
Joe Grillo is down on the field, the Panthers lineman, and it almost looks like they're working the foot, like maybe a cramp situation there.
Well, and that's something that you think about, but it's so different. You're used to playing out in the cold, and you get in here and it's a lot warmer. Yeah, I remember playing in prep bowls where you're in the Metrodome where you'd be dripping before the game even started. It's significantly different playing indoors, and got to stay hydrated. So I'm sure cramping is a big issue for both teams.
Well, especially when it's, you know, after you've kind of gone from August into November and been playing in freezing weather the last couple weeks. So here we go, 4th down and 12 here. Lakeville North, pretty much a must convert to stay in this when they're down 10 points.
The key here, keep Rajon Nelson from scrambling.
Steps up, throws on the run, and incomplete as Mose could not bring it in, and Champlin Park will take over on downs.
And I'm not so sure if Mose catches that he has the first down either. He might have been a yard and a half or two short. Great job by Nelson there, eluding a very good tackler, and he knows he's going to take a hit, but he stayed in there and delivered it. He put it right on the money. You can see that ball right at about the 44.
Avalecha, the pressure after Link tried but missed him. And now Champlin Park gets the football back here. Ball security, a big issue, but if they take care of business now, they should be on the way to the prep bowl.
Well, and you got to think they're going to put the ball on the ground, and if they are somehow able to pick up a first down, this one might be over.
Champlin Park's been in the prep bowl twice, lost them both. Hand off here going to Rashad Scott. And a quick timeout taken by Lakeville North. First carry for Scott tonight. He played a good game last week. Got obviously some more action with Shipman out of there, mainly as a blocker. Well, if you've enjoyed this one, be sure to watch Lakeville South versus Wyzetta on CCX. We'll have it on for you about 10 p.m. Friday, although as we found out on Thursday that games aren't necessarily going to stay on time here at U.S. Bank Stadium. That would be a replay time. The game itself scheduled for 7, and we would love to have them on live for you, but not allowed by high school league rules. So.
And I'll tell you, that's what's interesting. That's the #1 overall versus the #2 overall seed in the state of Minnesota. So an excellent matchup there. That's going to be a fun one. And this one certainly lived up to the hype. It's been very even. You know, Champlin Park played so well that first half, and now second half you get the feeling, Jay, they're just kind of holding on or wanting to get this one over. And you got to wonder, too, if Jace Miller's finger isn't playing a role. He's not carrying the ball as much in the second half, too.
2nd down and 10 now for the Rebels. Shipman will get it this time, and he is stopped immediately. And another timeout called by Lakeville North. That was their 3rd timeout. I think he misspoke the previous time, so that's their last timeout. 3rd down and 10 coming up here for the Rebels.
Well, this 24 points tonight that the Rebels have put up, 21 in the first half, the second most this year that this Panther defense has allowed. The first most against that Lakeville South and that loss to them. So Champlin Park looked like they were on pace to put up maybe a high 30s, low 40s output, and you give this Panther defense and their team credit. They've flipped the script here in the second half and really made this an even game.
Champlin Park here. 3 receivers set, although I really would doubt that they would consider throwing the ball here. Just really probably not worth the risk. Miller's going to run it. Miller will break through, and he's going to go for the touchdown. Jace Miller for 42 and a score, and the Rebels are heading to the Prep Bowl.
Great ball fake, Jace Miller, and he kept it. He got some great blocking up front, and you could kind of tell Lakeville North selling out on the run. Everyone kind of at that line of scrimmage, and we've seen if you can break through that, you get to that second level, there's no help behind there, and Jace Miller takes it to the house for his second rushing touchdown of the evening. Oh, beautiful blocks, too. Just outstanding blocks up front.
Jihad kicking out there, and Miller goes the distance. Unfortunately, we've got a Panther down injured as well here. There's a look. Boy, Gibbons had a great block.
That's one of those you draw up in practice, who's blocking who, and it worked out perfectly. Great kickouts, and Jihad with a great down block, too. And that one's going to seal it, I believe, partner.
I would say so. I believe this is Andrew Wyatt, who's down for Lakeville North. They're being cautious with him. He's down, on his stomach here now, rolling him.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of those scary kind of head, neck type injuries tonight. Unfortunately, both for Lakeville North. We saw Logan Freeberg, their best running back, get a couple of them and have to miss quite a bit of plays here in the second half. And a knee injury also we saw to them. There's Preston Palmer, who's missed most of the game with that knee injury. So
yeah, I'm sure the Panthers fans not seeing, exactly what they were hoping to see this evening after the great run they had to the championship a year ago, and they've pretty much turned into a annual contender for it. It seems like every year now.
Well, that's one of those, why are some of the same schools always good year in and year out? And a lot of it's coaching, and a lot of it is just when you're young and growing up and you see the older kids winning a state championship and playing here at the same stadium the Vikings play, you grow up wanting to imitate that and be a part of that. And I always say winning breeds winning. And a lot of these kids won it last year. They've been knocking on the door the last couple of years. So this is one of the top programs by far in the state of Minnesota. And win or lose, they should be proud of their effort this year and also tonight.
Nelson done all he could do tonight, but heartbroken as you can see that their season's going to come to an end.
And it kind of hits you, obviously, more so when you're a senior and you realize, hey, this is, even if you're playing in college, it's never the same as playing for your buddies that you've known your whole life and your teachers and your parents, and it can be very, very emotional.
Champlin Park with that Jace Miller touchdown, going up 30-14, and an extra point to come here after they tend to the injury. And again, obviously not taking any chances, really wanting to move Andrew Wyatt too quick or anything. They are going to be bringing a stretcher out.
Gosh.
Let's take a timeout here. We'll come back here and our final moments of this football game. 30-14, Champlin Park's our score.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How is it? Is it good?
Welcome back here to US Bank Stadium, the State 6A football semifinals, and unfortunately it appears to be a serious injury there to Andrew Wyatt of Lakeville North here with a little under 3 minutes to go, and his team now trailing at 30-14 as they were extra cautious certainly with him and getting him onto that stretcher now as his whole team's going to come out and gather around him here. And Ryan, as you said, going to be tough to get back to trying to finish out this game here, really, for both teams, but in particular the Panthers.
Yeah, and you got to remember, these are 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and they see one of their brothers strapped to a stretcher. It's emotional. It's heartbreaking. It's hard to go back to playing, especially with a couple minutes left and probably the game already decided. That's a tough thing, and it's pretty neat to see all of his teammates out there surrounding him.
And loading that stretcher then onto a cart. And good news is obviously we've got a couple hospital choices that are quite close to the stadium here, but obviously a scary situation for the players, but also family, certainly of Andrew too. So
he's had a tremendous career here, a tremendous year, a lot of tackles for losses, sacks. He's a big part of that really good defensive line they have, and see him going away there. You see his arms moving on the side. That's great to see, but just certainly hope that young man is okay.
Actually left the helmet and removed the face mask. Try and make him as comfortable as they can without having to move him.
It was kind of neat there. I don't know if you saw with his hand, he was calling for his dad, and dad able to be there for him.
So we will be coming out for the extra point attempt as Vogelpohl coming on, and see again there as he
see him calling. That's pretty awesome.
So Vogelpohl will attempt the extra point after Miller's touchdown run. And he gets the kick up and through, and so with 2:56 to play now, 31-14 as Champlin Park getting set to play in the Prep Bowl the day after Thanksgiving. And again, as I said, they've been in the Prep Bowl a couple of times in the past, and we saw actually some of the lead up to that in our halftime story on the 25 years of Rebels football. 98 and 2002 they were in the Prep Bowl, wound up short both times. One of those times was that program known as Eden Prairie. and the other was to Woodbury.
Well, I said it earlier in the year, Jay, when we saw them play and seeing Wayzata, I've seen a lot of, I haven't seen Lakeville South or Lakeville North, so, but of all the other teams I've seen, I thought Wayzata and Champlin Park were the two most complete teams. And certainly Champlin Park showing their part here tonight. And, you know, you think Jace Miller, you think of that pinky, now you give him 2 weeks to hopefully rest and recover that and prepare. And that's kind of the nice thing. You hope you get 2 healthy teams in that prep bowl. You want every team at their max and full strength.
Going to keep the ball on the ground, not wanting a big return, and it will be covered and kneeling on top of it there for the Panthers is Colby Miller. So Lakeville North will get the football presumably for a last time here, trailing at 31-14, 2:55 to go. Interesting kind of the way this has gone, because Lakeville North really had the momentum throughout this second half. I mean, you wouldn't have been too surprised if they had come back and tied it up there for a little while, but then the Rebels taking advantage of a turnover and the penalties and getting that big field goal, and then of course that Jace Miller drive run after they got the stop.
Yeah, really, a tale of two halves. As dominant as Champlin Park was in the first half, Lakeville North much better here in the second half.
Long throw there as he looked for Mose, and that'll be incomplete.
And then the timing on their long throws has been just a little bit off tonight. And again, Raja Nelson, he's got a strong arm. For a guy that's not a natural quarterback, he's got a great arm. But it's not just how strong your arm is, it's getting the touch and the timing with your receivers. And they've just been about a half a step off tonight.
And for the most part, the Rebels have covered really well too, which has not made those throws easy.
Yep.
3rd and 8, quarterback draw here, and Nelson is going to pick up the first. Oh boy, a face mask there. Evalecha got all mask there, it looked like. So that should be the 15-yard variety for sure.
Horse collar, Champlin Park, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Didn't get the mask, actually. Apparently the horse collar tackle instead, but same effect.
Well, I think this has been Lakeville North's best offense is Raja Nelson right, Raja Nelson left. And, in the third quarter when they were really on their run and moving the football, it was a heavy dose of him. And Champlin Park wasn't able to really stop him, but got a couple of those fumbles that really stopped Lakeville North's momentum.
Gavin Schroffnagel there on the carry for the Panthers, and another nice gainer there as they'll pick up about a dozen on that one.
Do you think you could spell that without looking? The last name.
Here's Nelson going to run it here, and he'll dart out of bounds after a short pickup. He has run the ball 25 times unofficially by my count here tonight.
And he's an amazing athlete, going to North Dakota State to continue his football career. And North Dakota State, again, having a really strong year. And they're getting a heck of an athlete right there.
Probably one of the few schools that you could go to and say that they win at just as high of a rate as your high school team, Lakeville North. Schroffnagel again and knocked down by Moore, but another nice gainer here. If the score were a little closer, you'd be a little worried if you're the Rebels that they've given up some big holes here, but gonna go right back again. And down inside the 5, down near the goal line. He's going to be stopped just short. Schroffnagel will pick up about 15 more, 16 down to the 1. And they look like they might be able to punch it in again here.
And he's only a sophomore, getting some good reps here. Great experience.
And Nelson trying to run that one in, but somebody got knocked backward into him a little bit, and no gain on the play. About a half-yard loss on that play. So second down goal to go here for the Panthers. Down toward a minute to go. Nelson this time, well, I haven't seen a signal. Yes, now it's a touchdown. As Nelson will push it over the goal line with help from his O-line there. And so the Panthers not quite done yet.
Yeah, good push, a quick sneak. You see how low he got and just got a great drive there. I'll tell you what comes in here, Jay, is Vogelpohl's field goal again, getting those 3 points. If Lakeville North were able to score here, and with a minute left, you onside kick, this game would be far from over. But you add that 3 points in, it made it a 3-score game at that point. So just keep going back to that clutch kick that he had.
Fisk will attempt the extra point. They've given the wrong team the points on the scoreboard here at US Bank Stadium.
I'm sure Coach Keenan doesn't mind seeing that.
Now they've corrected Champlin Park's score, but they haven't given Lakeville North their points yet. Okay, now they're getting it. It's been a long night, I'm sure. That injury, too, kind of just making it a weird feeling late here. Looking to onside kick it here, I'm sure, are the Panthers.
I mean, do you get the feeling, Jay, that Champlin Park, fortunate that they played as well as they did in the first half, because it seemed like a different team. And then in the second half, and able to hold on, able to get enough big plays, able to get some turnovers on defense. Jace Miller had that big run there towards the end that kind of sealed it. But other than that run, it didn't get a lot going, hardly anything going on offense here. So I think it's a good spot for Coach Keenan to be in that you got the win, but yet I think there's enough teachable things here that they can improve on and get even better going into the Prep Bowl.
Onside kick try, bounces around, and the Panthers are going to get it. Recovered by Patterson. They did a little switcheroo with the kickers and actually had Mines kick that ball, and it was really only one Rebel. Those are tough to handle when you know people are bearing down on you trying to field a bouncing football like that.
A lot of times on that onside kick, you see kickers kick it too hard where it just goes right out of bounds. That was kicked really nicely. And it takes the bounce right at his feet almost. That's a hard play. And if you're that first level, you're taught if you can't field that cleanly, you got to let it go. But
Nelson throwing deep down the sideline. Wanted to go to Mose, but incomplete. Miles on the coverage there. And you can see it now where they need to go big. But I mean, almost every throw they've had tonight's been like 40 yards downfield. You're not going to probably complete a real high percentage of those.
And all right down the sideline, too, and out of bounds almost. You try to run maybe 4 verticals where you get a couple going down the seam there and spread out your wide receivers, give your quarterback a couple of different options.
2nd and 10. Nelson now chased back, weaving his way around. Oh, turns back the other direction. Now he's going to throw it. And incomplete as he tried to find Wall.
I'll tell you, we got the game before this. We got to see Jalen Suggs, the quarterback, and he's a dynamic athlete, and you almost hold your breath watching him. And Raja Nelson really the same way. Maybe not quite the thrower that Jalen Suggs is, but every bit the athlete and speed and agility. Fun player to watch.
3rd and 10 for the Panthers. 48 seconds to go, separating Champlin Park from a 3rd Prep Bowl appearance. Pass complete to Mose, but it will be short of the first down. It also did not get out of bounds. So about a 9-yard pickup. Only the 2nd completion tonight for Nelson. 4th down and 1, 30 seconds to go. Nelson will run it. Oh my goodness, Evalecha Brings him down hard. This one apparently was legal, though. Under 20 seconds to play. Nelson throwing, and that one is incomplete. Second and long coming up here for Lakeville North. They've tried to battle back, but down by 10. And Rebels, it was such a, just took the air out of the stadium with that long injury, and you get the feeling now that they're waiting a chance to celebrate a little bit here. Raja Nelson will throw it deep, and that one over the top and incomplete.
Yeah, and you almost feel like you don't want to over-celebrate when you have a serious injury, even if it's the other team. At the end of the day, we're all humans and kids, whether we're competing against each other or not. It's a weird feeling. I'll tell you what would make everyone feel better is get a positive report back that Andrew Wyatt is okay. But I mean, give credit to Lakeville North. They fought here till the very, very end, scoring, getting the onside kick. And of course, huge credit to the season continuing for the Champlin Park Rebels.
Nelson's going to step up and run for it. Has some space. Nelson inside the 20, and he'll be brought down, and the game is going to come to an end. And Champlin Park is headed to the Prep Bowl. Great first half. Had some tough moments at times in the second, but made a few clutch plays down the stretch as well, and able to do a pretty good job of keeping their defense from totally break in, as a couple touchdowns for the Panthers earlier. They got one late as well, but nice victory here for Champlin Park against a very good team and a very strong program.
Yep, nice complete game as always. Complimentary football, good offense, great defense, great special teams. Congratulations to the Rebels getting back to the Prep Bowl.
So a great win for Champlin Park. Congratulations to the Rebels as they get set to head to the Prep Bowl on Friday the 29th, the day after Thanksgiving, and we'll be back here at US Bank Stadium, of course, and they will await the winner of Friday night's Lakeville South Wayzata game, which you can also see on CCX. We hope you've enjoyed this one. For Ryan Iverson and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from US Bank Stadium.